I watch it happen. I watch the darkness pour out of him, consuming the hall like a living thing, writhing and twisting, feeding off his fury. It spreads across the walls, curls around the torches, suffocates the air itself. The contestants recoil, some gasping, others scrambling away from the black tendrils that slither across the stone. Even the sentinels tense, their hands inching toward their weapons. But no one moves, no one dares. And I just watch. Because I've seen this before. Not the raw, unrestrained power of Riven Knox, not the way his shadows lash out as if they have minds of their own, desperate to devour anything in their path. But I've seen this. A power so vast it feels like it will swallow the world whole. A fury so consuming it drowns reason, drowning the person beneath it. Because it's the same thing that's inside me. His mother doesn't even flinch. Of course, she doesn't. Eve Laura Knox is the closest thing to a monster I've ever seen wear a crown. She watches Riven with nothing but mild amusement, as if she expected this, as if she wanted it. But that's not what is consuming my mind right now. He saw something too, didn't he? My eyes go wide at the realization. He chose me too. That's why Lucien and Cale are the way they are now, because both of us chose each other. I stand in the darkness, watching Riven yell at his mother. The torches flicker wildly, barely holding onto their light, fighting against the force of him. And I should step back, leave even. I should stay out of it. But I don't, because I see what no one else does. I see the war inside him. I see the breaking. I move before I can think, stepping through the darkness like it belongs to me, like I am not afraid. Maybe I'm not. Not of him. The moment I reach him, I grab his wrist, my grip firm, a touch meant to anchor, not restrain. Riven. It's the first time I've spoken to him in days, and his name feels sour on my lips. His gaze snaps to mine, the most beautiful eyes locking onto mine. I almost recoil at the torture in his expression, the tears that stain his perfect face. My lips part. Riven, I whisper again softly, come home to me. He doesn't move, doesn't speak. I lift my hand to his face, brushing away his tears, cupping his cheek. I'm right here, Riven. His fingers twitch beneath mine. His breath stutters. His lips part, but no sound escapes. The Queen's smile is razor sharp. The amusement in her eyes is a blade to the gut, a cruel, unspoken I knew it. But I don't care about her. I care about the man in front of me, the man who looks like he's falling apart beneath his own power. The man who is breaking. I tighten my grip on his wrist, stepping closer until there's barely any space between us. I can feel the heat of his skin, the tremor in his body. His brows pull together, a flicker of something vulnerable cracking through the storm in his eyes. His shoulders tremble. His throat bobs with a harsh swallow. And then slowly, reluctantly, the shadows begin to retreat. They slither back toward him, curling into his frame, disappearing into his skin like smoke drawn into the lungs. The torches burn brighter, the air grows lighter, and for the first time since this started, he breathes. A shuddering, broken breath. "Cayde," he says, his voice tortured. I can feel everyone's stares on me. My back feels like it's going to melt off with the mark burning. I need to go. I don't know how much longer I can keep this up. I drop his wrist, and slowly watching him, I take 2 steps back. "Don't leave me. Please, Cayde." My heart cracks straight down the middle. I should stay. I should say something, anything. But I can't. So I turn. And I walk away. The second I step out of the hall, the air feels too tight in my lungs. My vision blurs. And before I even make it around the corner, the first tear falls. Then another. Then I'm gasping, pressing a hand over my mouth, trying to hold it all in, the pain, the exhaustion, the weight of everything. His voice echoes in my skull. "Don't leave me. Please, Cayde." I squeeze my eyes shut, my nails digging into my palm as I choke down a sob. I should have said something. Should have stayed, should have. But I left. Because I'm a coward. Because I don't know how to save him when I can't even save myself. I press my back against the cold stone wall, my breaths coming in sharp, uneven gasps. My fingers tremble as I drag them through my hair, gripping hard, as if that might ground me. It doesn't. The mark on my back burns like fire, like something inside me is clawing to be let out. I press a hand to it, but it does nothing to stop the searing heat. "He is yours and you are his. Syerin Cayde, he will never leave." The words sear into my mind. I grip my arm, nails digging into my skin as if I can rip the truth out of me before it takes hold. He is mine, and I am his. No. No, I won't accept that. I push off the wall, forcing myself to move, to breathe, to run from the truth curling around my throat like a noose. The halls blur around me, my vision tunneling as I stumble into the nearest empty chamber. The door slams shut behind me, and I press my hands against the cold stone, bracing myself, trying to slow my breaths. But the mark burns hotter. Not just pain, presence. A pull so strong it nearly drags me to my knees. Riven. Even with the distance between us, I can feel him. The remnants of his shadows coiling beneath my skin, whispering my name, his name, ours. The curse, a bond, a truth I do not want. I press my forehead to the stone, my breath ragged. "No," I whisper. I fall to the floor, a scream tearing from my throat. It is my fault. All of it is my fault. Lucien and Kale. Riven. All of a sudden, a hand clamps over my mouth, muffling my ragged breaths. I thrash instinctively, panic surging through me, but then... "Calm down, it's just me." Lurel murmurs, "Breathe for me, okay?" Breathe, I can't. My lungs are too tight, my body too racked. But still I force myself to inhale and exhale. Slowly, she removes her hand from my mouth, watching me closely, ready to stop me again if I break apart. I press my palms to the stone beneath me, forcing the tremor in my body to still. "You want to talk about it?" she asks softly, sitting beside me. "What happened?" You can trust her, Marker. Allies are important. She is more than just your ally. She is your friend. I didn't think you would care. After all, weren't you the one telling me that having friends is weak, that I need no one? What can I say? The maze changed me too. I take a deep breath. Something happened in that maze. I start. Lucien and Cale are in the state they are in now because we chose each other. Luril turns her head towards me, her brows scrunching. What do you mean you chose each other? What did you see, Syerin? Dreeth, I whisper. They made me chew. I make it to my room an hour after I tell Luril what I saw. She dragged me to the training room and we fought until I spilled out every ounce of frustration, anger, and guilt. It still didn't stop me from going by the healing quadrant. They're still asleep. I'll find a way to make it right, even if it means I have to go all the way to Tenebris to find the cure. The thought stays with me as I shut the door behind me, stripping out of my sweat-drenched clothes. The sparring match with Luril helped, but I still feel like I'm crawling out of my own skin. The mark on my back burns, not as violently as before, but enough to remind me that it's still there, that he's still there. I push the thought away, stepping into the shower. The water is warm as I turn the faucet, steam curling around the stone walls. I brace my hands on the edge, inhaling deeply, willing myself to let it go, to let him go. But God's knows it isn't that easy. I don't know when the next trial is going to be, but if I keep torturing myself over what's happened now, I just know I'm not going to survive long enough to help them. But the moment I step under the stream, the lights flicker. I freeze, water running over my shoulders, down my spine. The torches outside my chamber snuff out. Then, the window shatters. The room plunges into darkness. Shadows slither inside, thick tendrils creeping across the stone, wrapping around the floor like living things. My breath catches as the temperature drops, cold air biting against my wet skin. I know this darkness. It knows me. Riven. I barely whisper his name before the door bursts open. And there he is. His silhouette is backlit by the dying light of the hallway, tall, ruthless devastation incarnate in the doorway. His shirt hangs half undone, clinging to sweat-damp skin, chest heaving like he ran here. And his face, his face is wrecked beyond reason. Jaw set so hard it could break, eyes feral, every muscle coiled tight with something lethal and starving. Kids. The way he says it, broken, desperate, sends a shudder down my spine. I step back instinctively, but the wall stops me cold. His gaze drags down my bare shoulders, over my breasts, my stomach, water glistening on my skin, and something inside him snaps. Shadows whip forward, slamming the door shut, swallowing us whole. His breath is ragged as he steps closer, shadows wrapping around his wrists, curling at his feet. I can't do this. I swallow hard, my pulse thrumming in my throat. Do what? Stay away from you. His voice cracks. He's fighting at us, but it's useless. The bond pulls. The mark demands. He drags a hand through his hair, his entire body trembling. You left. You walked away from me. I suck in a breath, my nails digging into my palms. I had to, I whisper. He laughs, eyes going so cold that I shudder. Don't fucking lie to me, Cayde. I can feel you. Even when you're not there, I feel you. Every breath, every thought, every ache. His voice is hoarse. Tell me you don't feel it too. I can't. Gods, I can't. Because I do feel it. You think this is easy for me. My voice is barely there. Then why do you keep running? Shadows hiss, tightening around us, the air so heavy I can barely breathe. Because the second I surrender, I'm his, and he's mine, and I don't know if I'll survive that kind of ruin. I don't get the chance to speak. Because he moves. In a single, fluid motion, he's in front of me, his body caging mine against the stone wall. His hands slam into the surface beside my head, his chest barely an inch from mine. Tell me to leave, he rasps, breath hot on my lips, and I fucking will. My mouth opens, closes. Nothing. Because I don't want him to leave, and he knows. The last thread of restraint in his body snaps. His mouth crashes into mine. I gasp, and he swallows the sound, pressing me harder against the wall, tongue fucking into me like he can't get deep enough, like he wants to swallow every breath I have left. His hands slide down my arms, gripping my waist, fingers digging into wet skin like he needs to feel that I'm real. I curl my fingers into his soaked shirt, pulling him closer. He groans, low and guttural, hands sliding down to grip my hips so hard it hurts, dragging me against the iron-hard length straining his trousers. Mine, he snarls against my lips. The word rips straight through me, clit throbbing, heat flooding so hot it's dizzying. I don't know who moves first, but suddenly we're stumbling beneath the water, the warmth of the stream cascading over us as his lips trail down my throat, over my collarbone, searing every inch of me. He grabs my thighs, lifts me like I weigh nothing. My legs lock around his waist, soaked skin grinding against him. The friction makes me gasp and my head falls forward against his chest. Don't you dare hold back, he snarls, shadows wrapping my wrists, pinning them above my head. Scream for me. Let them all fucking hear that you're mine. Riven, his name rips out of me as a whimper when his mouth drops to my throat, teeth scraping, tongue dragging fire over wet skin. His cock grinds up against me, thick and so fucking hard I can barely think. I tried to forget, he rasps, voice breaking, breath hot on my skin. But you're in my blood, you own me. He rips his trousers off, and my walls clench around nothing, need burning so hot it aches. Tell me you want this, he growls. I smirk, tightening my grip around his neck. I want you, Riven, I whisper against his ear. A curse rips out of him. His shadows slam me tighter against the wall, legs spread. He lines up, then drives in, burying himself to the hilt in a single savage thrust. Fuck! The scream tears out of me, head thrown back, nails biting into his shoulders. Feel that, he pants, voice ragged. Feel how deep I am. Gods, you're so fucking tight for me. The water runs over us, but I barely feel it. All I feel is him. He grips my hips, lifting me up, my legs wrapping around his torso, as his lips trail down the column of my neck, pressing into the sensitive spot that he loves to tease. He groans, his grip on me tightening as if my name on his lips unravels something inside him. His tongue flicks against the sensitive spot on my throat, and I gasp, arching into him. Mine, he rasps, voice breaking. Every fucking inch, every moan, you're mine. Yes, God's, yours, I sob. His shadows twisting around my nipples, tugging, sending white-hot sparks through me. His mouth crashes to mine, wet, devouring, while his shadows curl tighter, one wrapping my throat, squeezing just enough to make my vision spark. I tried, he rasps, voice thick with restraint, his forehead pressing against mine. I tried to stay away. I tried to forget. His breath hitches, his fingers curling around my jaw, tilting my face to his. But you're in my blood, Cayde. The water runs over us, droplets clinging to his skin, catching in the dark strands of his hair. His fingers slide down my spine, gripping my waist, his thumbs pressing into the curve of my hips. Then he pulls out, drops to his knees. Shadows slide between my thighs, hot and cold all at once. One slick tendril teases my clit, circling, flicking. Another pushes lower, tracing my folds, then pressing in, stretching me, pulsing with dark heat. I cry out, back arching, head hitting the wall. Gods, fuck, my voice is wrecked. Look at you, riven snarls from below, voice shredded with hunger. Fucking falling apart on my shadows. You love it, don't you? His shadows tighten around my wrists, pinning me hard against the stone, and another tendril drags over my nipple, twisting just enough to make me whimper. He groans, head falling forward, hair dripping water onto my stomach as his fingers dig into my hips. His breath ghosts over my skin, hot and trembling. Then his mouth is on me, tongue flicking my clit, sucking it between his lips, fucking devouring me like he's starving. His shadows move with him, sliding in and out of me, curling against that sweet, devastating spot inside. Riven, gods, please, I sob, my back arching off the wall so hard the shadows have to slam me back into place. I let him have me. Every gasp, every shudder, every aching, reckless piece of me. Because I'm his. And God's help me, he's mine too. You drive me insane, he growls, pressing me against the slick stone wall. I can't think. I can't breathe when you're not near me. His voice cracks and he stands, his forehead falling against mine, his hands shaking where they hold me. Tell me how to stop this. Tell me how to let you go. I know what he's asking. And I can't give him the answer he wants. Because I don't want to stop. I don't want to let go. I press my lips to his again. You can't. I pull back enough to see his flushed face and raise a hand, cupping his cheek. I want you, all of you, I whisper. He holds my gaze for a split second, then drops me instantly, spinning me around, pressing my face gently against the wall of the shower. Careful what you wish for, he murmurs. I gasp when he thrusts inside me. He grips my hair firmly, pulling it back as he trails his lips over the shell of my ear, his breath ragged and hot against my damp skin. Say it again, he growls, his voice dark, wrecked. A shudder runs down my spine, my fingers splaying against the cold stone as I struggle to find my breath. My body trembles, caught between the scorching heat of him and the icy chill of the wall. "I want you," I whisper, "all of you." His grip tightens in my hair, forcing my head back, his lips skimming the side of my throat. "Then take me, Cayde, all of me. Everything I am, everything I will be, it's yours. I know you can take it." I moan as he pushes into me harder, hitting that sweet spot right inside of me. "Gods, Riven," I moan. White-hot pleasure blinds my vision and I cry out, nails splitting as they claw at the wall. He slows, breath rough, pressing his forehead to the back of my neck. "I love you," he chokes out. Time goes still. I can feel the presence of the goddess, humming beneath my skin, although she's been gone for this interaction. "I love you," I gasp back, breathless, "all of you." A feral snarl tears out of him. He spins me, face pressing into the cold stone, shadows locking my thighs wide. A ragged sound rips out of him, almost a sob, and then he slams in deep, cock-poolsing, shadows tightening everywhere at once as if they want to fuse us together. Then slowly, tender, trembling, his shadows loosen. His lips find mine, softer now, wrecked and shaking. His hands cradle my thighs, sliding me down so my feet find the floor, though I'm too weak to stand. Water still runs over us, slicking skin against skin. For a long, breathless moment, he just holds me, forehead pressed to mine, shadows curling lazy and possessive around my wrists and hips. Then, carefully, he scoops me into his arms, lifting me like I weigh nothing as he steps out of the shower. He grabs a cloth, running it gently over my shoulders, down my arms, his movements slow. His hands tremble slightly as he wrings the water from my hair, fingers threading through the damp strands. "Mine, so mine," he whispers. He dries himself off, and I laugh when he shakes his hair, causing water to splash on me. He carries me out of the steam, across the cold floor. My body aches, used and trembling, but gods, I've never felt so alive, so kept. He lowers me to the bed, laying me down with a tenderness that wrecks me more than the shadows did. Covers pulled over my flushed, naked skin, his warmth pressed to my side. Shadows still curl around my wrist like a vow. His arm drapes over my waist, his lips at the curve of my shoulder. "Sleep," he whispers, breath shaking. For the first time in so long, I don't feel alone. I feel kept. I feel his. I always used to think beauty existed in victory. Beauty existed in the blood of my enemies. Beauty existed in defending the crown. Beauty did not exist in people. People are corrupt. Kindness and delicacy, a mask for that cruelty that I know hides inside each and every person. Yes, she's a killer. Yes, she's cruel. I never realized until now that is what made her beautiful. The sun peeks in through the curtains, my eyes fluttering awake. It takes me a few seconds to realize that I'm not in my room. She stirs next to me and everything comes crashing back. "Hey," she whispers, big blue eyes lighting up. I chuckle, drawing her even closer, pressing a small kiss on her cheek. "Hey." She hums softly, her fingers tracing absent patterns against my chest. There's no hesitation in her touch, no uncertainty, just the quiet confidence of someone who has always known exactly what she wants and has never been afraid to take it. I used to think softness was a weakness, that love made people weak. But here, in the quiet morning light, with her pressed against me, the scent of steel and lavender lingering on her skin, I wonder if I was wrong. She shifts, tilting her head up to look at me. "You're starring," she murmurs, lips curving in that sharp, knowing way that always makes me want to just turn her over and fuck her until she's screaming my name. I smirk, fingers trailing down her spine. Can you blame me? A laugh escapes her, quiet but genuine. I haven't heard her laugh genuinely. There's always that bit of snark and bite behind her, but not today. She doesn't try to move away, doesn't pull back. Instead, she shifts even closer, tucking herself against me, her breath warm against my collarbone. I exhale, fingers tightening slightly around her waist. "You drive me insane," I murmur against her. "I know," she groans. "Your mother's going to call us out. We should get ready." Syerin gently pries my fingers from her waist, sitting upright. I watch her, utterly mesmerized, as she gathers her hair into a ponytail, exposing the elegant line of her throat. The morning light catches in the deep red strands, making them glow like embers. She's right. My mother will be expecting us, but I don't move. Instead, I reach for her, fingers circling her wrist before she can fully pull away. She turns, one brow arched, and fuck, she looks stunning, hair a little messy, lips still kiss-bitten from last night, eyes sharp and knowing. "You're starring again," she remarks, amused. I tug her back down, rolling us over so she's pinned beneath me. She gasps, but it turns into a soft laugh, her hands bracing against my chest. "Riven," she warns, but there's no real heat behind it. I smirk, dipping my head to press a slow, lingering kiss just below her jaw. 5 more minutes, I murmur against her skin. Her fingers tighten slightly, nails digging in, and I can feel her pulse hammering beneath my lips. She exhales sharply, but I catch the way her body relaxes beneath me, the way her legs shift slightly, as if considering whether she should push me away or pull me closer. "We're going to be late," she mutters, though it lacks conviction. I hum, trailing kisses down the column of her throat, my hands sliding over the bare skin of her waist. And she shivers, then groans, pushing at my chest half-heartedly. "And your mother already thinks I'm a bad influence." I grin against her skin. "That's because you are." She snorts but doesn't argue. After a long pause, she sighs. "Fine, 5 minutes." I smirk, pressing another kiss to her lips. That's all I need. She rolls her eyes, but I don't miss the way her breath hitches when I shift against her. 5 minutes. And maybe, just maybe, I'll make her want more. We're late. Half an hour late. Although, to our surprise, we're not the last ones here. Cayde takes her seat opposite me, a few others strolling in and Luril coming hot in last. My mother, of course, doesn't show until 5 minutes later. She's changed out her usual crimson attire for white and green. Huh, interesting. That's Velthar's colors. I don't know who she's fooling. Maybe my father, but even he isn't stupid enough to take her back. We were all rather impressed by the outcome of the trial. The sages have been recording your events in which we broadcast all over Syerin. Unfortunately for you, that means everything. The sages have been keeping an eye on all of you, and we have gathered some footage in and out of the trials which we will broadcast tonight. Her eyes land on Syerin, then flick to me. Fuck if anyone finds out. As our last ball got interrupted, this ball will be taken into the Ascension Arena. Here an audience will be gathered, and you will be interviewed by one of the most famous hosts of the kingdom. I suggest you all prepare yourself for what you will have to say. She steps around the table, her fingers skimming over my shoulders, and what you will have to watch. Syerin tenses in front me, her fingers curling slightly against her lap. I don't have to look at her to know she's thinking the same thing I am. If the sages have been watching, if they have footage of everything of us, then we're screwed. I clench my jaw. And what exactly are we watching? My voice is even, but there's an edge to it, one my mother picks up on immediately. She smirks, leaning down so only I can hear. Wouldn't you like to know? I don't react. I won't give her the satisfaction. But I feel Syerin's gaze burning into me, sharp and assessing. You'll find out soon enough, my mother continues, straightening and addressing the rest of the table. Until then, you're dismissed. Make yourselves presentable. You are, after all, the faces of Velthar now. Her eyes gleam, like it or not. With that, she turns on her heel and strides from the room, leaving behind a heavy silence. Varian leans back in his chair, arms crossed. Well, he says, dragging out the word. That sounds ominous. Lurel sighs, rubbing her temples. She just enjoys toying with us. I wouldn't be surprised if this was all some grand performance for her. Cayde still hasn't spoken. When I finally glance at her, I can't read what she's thinking, but I know better. She's cooking up what could only be classified as something stupid. I reach under the table, brushing my fingers against hers. She doesn't pull away. That's enough, for now. Varian stands, stretching. Guess I should figure out what I'm wearing for this ball. Hopefully, this time I won't need to strap weapons all over me. His voice is laced with boredom, but his eyes flicker with something very akin to worry and fear. One by one, the others leave. Only Syerin and I remain. We need to find out what they have, she finally says, voice low. I nod, and we need to stop it before they show it. Her lips curl slightly. Good, I was hoping you'd say that. I exhale, dragging a hand through my hair, the strands falling into my eyes. This is a bad idea. She smirks, those gorgeous blue eyes crinkling at the corners. All the best ones are. Midnight hits quickly, and the second the clock strikes 12, Cayde and I are out hunting. The halls of Ironspire are mostly empty at this hour, save for a few guards who are either too tired or too disinterested to notice the two shadows slipping past them. Syerin moves ahead of me, silent as a wraith, her twin daggers strapped to her thighs, glinting under the dim torchlight. She's all sharp edges and quiet violence, but fuck, she's also mine. And if anyone sees that footage, if they get even one glimpse of her under me, flushed and breathless, I'll kill them. Simple as that. This is not a good idea, Prince. I already know that, but... A cold breeze brushes through the corridor as we descend a spiraling stone staircase, deeper into the lower grounds of the kingdom, where the air grows thick with the scent of parchment and ink. The sage's chambers are buried beneath iron spire, hidden behind iron doors and layers of enchantments meant to keep out prying eyes. But enchantments only work on those who don't know how to break them. Syerin stops at the base of the stairs, tilting her head slightly, listening. I do the same. The torches here are dimmer, flickering weakly against the damp stone walls. Faint voices murmur from somewhere beyond the chamber doors, but not close enough to be a problem. I glance at Cayde, who presses herself against the wall beside the heavy oak door. Which one has it? She murmurs. Syerin, I answer. He's the one my mother trusts with sensitive information. She scoffs under her breath. Your mother trusts no one. Exactly. I reach into my coat, pulling out a small dagger, which means he's valuable to her. Syerin grins, all sharp teeth and promise. Then let's make him less valuable. I don't have time to be turned on by that. Not yet, at least. I step up beside her, lowering my voice. The archives are down this hall. Syerin's chambers should be near the back. She nods once, drawing a dagger as we move forward. The doors lining the corridor are marked with silver sigils, wards meant to keep out the uninvited. Most of the rooms belong to lesser sages, filled with records and scrolls that hold centuries' worth of history. I scan each nameplate as we pass. Syerin's is near the end of the hall, just as I expected. His door is different, reinforced with a thick iron frame, the sigils carved deeper, glowing faintly with stored magic. He's important, which means my mother trusts him with everything. Syerin traces a finger along the sigils. You think he's inside. I listen again. No movement, no shifting of parchment or scratching of a quill. But that doesn't mean he isn't here. Only one way to find out. I pull a small vial from my belt, a mixture of crushed obsidian and powdered wormroot. I smear it over the sigils, watching as they flicker, struggling against the substance before sputtering out entirely. The wards break with a soft crack and the glow dies. Syerin lets out a low hum. Handy. I smirk, pressing my palm flat against the door. Stand back. She does, and I slam my shoulder into the wood, forcing it open. The hinges groan, and the door swings inward, revealing a dimly lit chamber filled with towering shelves, stacks of parchment, and flickering candles. Syerin isn't here. But he was. The scent of ink and candle wax lingers fresh in the air, and a half-filled goblet of wine sits atop his desk, still warm. Syerin moves first, gliding through the room, scanning the shelves. Where would he keep it? I shut the door behind us, locking it. If he's not in here, it might already be in the main archives. She scowls. Not an option. We need to find him before that footage goes public. I scan the room, stepping over scattered scrolls and ledgers. A ledger on the desk is still open, fresh ink staining the page. I skim the contents, timestamps, recordings, notes on what was deemed useful information for the court to see. And there, near the bottom, my name. And hers. I grind my teeth. Syerin notices, moving to my side. Her eyes flick to the page, then narrow. Fuck. He's already viewed it, I say, voice low. That means he's been preparing it for the broadcast. Her fingers twitch around the hilt of her dagger. Where the fuck is he? A noise outside. Our eyes meet. Then we move. I blow out the candles, my shadows crawling from my body, plunging the room into darkness, as Syerin presses herself against the wall, blade drawn. Footsteps, slow and careful, approach the door. A key scrapes against the lock. The moment the door creaks open, Syerin is on him. Ezrin barely has time to gasp before she shoves him inside, slamming him against the desk, dagger pressed against his throat. His eyes go wide, flickering between us, panic setting in as I shut the door behind us once more. What, he stammers. What are you? Save it, I cut in, stepping closer. You have something that belongs to us. His brows knit together in forced confusion. I don't know what you mean. Syerin presses the knife deeper into his throat, just deep enough for a trickle of blood to go down. My cock hardens and it takes everything to bite back the groan. Don't play dumb, she hisses. We know about the footage. Fuck, how is this beautiful, lethal woman all mine? His face pales. He chokes as she presses a dagger to his throat, her other hand fisting in his robes. That's confidential. I chuckle, low and dark. Not anymore. I step closer, tapping the flat of my blade against his cheek. Now I'm going to give you a choice, Ezrin. You either tell us where the footage is and delete every trace of it. I lean in, lowering my voice and making my shadows slither softly against his skin. Or I make sure you never get the chance to see another dawn. The tendrils tighten around his throat. He's trembling now, his breath coming in quick, shallow bursts. Why, you can't. Syerin presses even harder. We can. And we will, I add. His gaze flicks wildly between us, his mind racing. He's realizing too late that there's no escape. It's in the main archives, he finally stammers. The viewing crystal, it's all stored there. But I can erase it from here. His voice pitches higher. Please, I swear, just don't kill me. Cayde releases him with a shove. Then do it. He scrambles back, nearly knocking over an ink bottle in his haste, fumbling for a small, rune-marked device on his desk. I watch as he presses a sequence of sigils, his hands shaking so badly that he nearly messes up the order. A faint glow pulses, then fades. There, he gasps, it's gone. I step forward, gripping his chin between my fingers, forcing him to look at me. If you're lying, I murmur, I'll know. He nods frantically, fear stark in his eyes. I wouldn't dare. I release him, straightening. Good. Then, without warning, I slam my fist into his face. He crumples instantly, unconscious before he even hits the ground. Syerin raises a brow. Was that necessary? I shrug, felt right. She smirks, can't argue with that. I extend a hand. She takes it, and together we slip back into the shadows, leaving Ezrin to rot in his own fear. The footage is gone, and no one will ever see Cayde like that except me. Morning comes way too quickly. By the time the sun rises, I'm still running on nothing but leftover adrenaline and the satisfaction of knowing that no one will ever see that footage. Syerin, of course, looks unfazed. She's lounging on the windowsill of my chambers, one leg bent, the other dangling over the edge, bathed in golden morning light like she isn't the same woman who had a dagger to Ezrin's throat only hours ago. She stretches, lazy and unconcerned, as if we didn't just commit treason against the Queen's trusted sage. "What are you thinking about?" She murmurs, not even looking at me. I don't bother denying it. A mess of things. Her lips curve in a smirk. I push off the bed, crossing the room in a few strides until I'm standing between her legs, hands braced on either side of her hips. "I still don't trust that bastard," I murmur, brushing my lips against her jaw. If he backed up the footage anywhere. He didn't. Syerin threads her fingers into my hair, tugging lightly. "You broke him the second you touched him. He won't even think about it." I exhale sharply, letting my hands slide up her thighs. Still, I murmur, if I ever hear even a whisper about it. "Then we kill him," she finishes. No hesitation, no doubt. I grin, exactly. A sharp knock at my door ruins the moment. Syerin sighs dramatically. Shame. I was really enjoying this. I press a quick kiss to her lips before turning away. If it's a summons from my mother, I'm going to strangle someone. She hops off the windowsill, grabbing one of my shirts and tugging it over her head like she owns the place. Which, honestly, she does. I open the door. It's not a messenger. It's one of the Queen's shadows. Not just one of my best friends that I made from Dracoris. Cyrus. My eyes widen in shock. I haven't seen him for years. Clad in dark leather, face half hidden beneath his hood, he stands rigid, every inch of him trained to kill on command. His gaze flicks over my shoulder, landing on Syerin before settling on me. He gives me a smirk. I roll my eyes. "Hey, Cyrus, what's up, buddy?" He doesn't respond, just looks at me like I'm crazy. "The Queen requires your presence," he says, voice all lazy. Of course she does. I keep my expression carefully neutral. And what pressing matter demands my attention this early? He doesn't blink. Ezrin is missing. A silence. Syerin and I exchange a glance. I school my features into something close to concern. Missing. Cyrus nods once. He failed to report to the Queen this morning. His chambers were searched. No sign of him. A pause. There was blood. Syerin hums from behind me. Unfortunate. He doesn't react. Her Majesty wants him found, and she wants answers. I exhale, feigning irritation. Then I suppose we shouldn't keep her waiting. He steps back, making way for us. I glance at Syerin, who's already pulling on her boots, expression unreadable. Her gaze lands on Kiris and she freezes, and so does he. Kiris, she whispers. Confusion hits me from all sides like a tidal wave. You guys know each other. Kiris leans against the door frame. Let's just say before I worked for your mother, I lived in the wastes, trying to hide my power, and a funny redhead saved me from being executed. I blink, Cayde, a funny redhead. She doesn't look at me, her expression unreadable, but the way Kiris tilts his head, the way something almost fond flickers in his sharp green eyes, tells me everything I need to know. Fuck. This isn't just some passing acquaintance. This isn't just nothing. Kiris pushes off the doorframe, crossing his arms. Didn't expect to see you here, Fox. Fox. That one word feels like a blade in my ribs. Syerin's lips twitch, but there's no humor in it. Didn't expect to see you working for a queen you hate. Kiris lets out a sharp, quiet laugh. Yeah, well, we all make sacrifices. I glance between them, something heavy settling in my chest. Someone want to tell me what the fuck is going on. Syerin finally looks at me, and I hate that her expression is careful, like she's gauging whether to tell me the truth. I knew your little lovebird here before I joined your mother's army, he says simply. She helped me out once. That's all. Cayde hums, tilting his head. That's all, huh? I grit my teeth. How? Syerin exhales, her fingers tightening slightly on the edge of my desk. I told you I spent years on my own, before the tournament, before Velthar. She flicks her gaze to Kiris, then back to me. I found him in the wastes. He was hiding and a bounty hunter caught him. I guess you could say I killed him before he could collect. My blood runs cold. A bounty hunter. I knew Syerin had kept things from me. I knew she hadn't told me everything about what she endured before she had to step into the games. But fuck this. Kiris must see something on my face because he huffs a laugh, shaking his head. Don't look so shocked, Prince. She's an old friend like you and me, buddy. A muscle in my jaw twitches. Kiris rolls his eyes, and for the record, I was fine. You were reckless, Syerin corrects, and if I hadn't been there, you'd be. Dead, he finishes, I doubt it. Syerin gives him a look, and I hate the way they fall into this old rhythm, like they've had this argument before. Like this isn't new for them. I step between them, blocking Syerin from his view. We should go, I say flatly. Kiris smirks, jealous Prince. I glare at him. If I were, you wouldn't be standing. He snorts, shaking his head. Sure, whatever you say. I hate him. I push past him, but he stops me pressing a hand on my shoulder. I'm not even going to ask what you two did last night, he says flatly. I lean against the doorframe, smirking. Good, because I wouldn't tell you. Riven, you have to be careful. Your mother is not someone to be messed with. I don't respond, but I agree. He was in the same kind of position in Dracoris. I helped him out, and that's where our tight relationship started. I'm keeping silent cause I owe you a favor, but your mother will have my head if she realizes that you two are the reason and I knew about it. I sigh, groaning and raking a hand through my tousled hair. Thanks, Riss, I do appreciate it. My mother can do whatever she wants to me, but I will never let her touch her. Kiris shakes his hand, letting out a sigh. Gods, love and what it does to people. The Queen's throne room is cold. Not in temperature, though Ironspire's halls rarely know warmth, but in the way power sits heavy in the air, pressing against my lungs. The marble floors gleam, the tall stained glass windows cast fractured light across the polished black stone, and my mother, Queen Evelora, sits atop her throne, clad in crimson and gold. Kiris and I step forward. Cayde is waiting for us outside. My mother doesn't know she's listening. A handful of my mother's most trusted stand at the base of the dais. Advisors, a few guards, and Lord Vaelric, her ever-loyal second-in-command. They part as we approach, and my mother's gaze lands on me. Riven, she says smoothly, how lovely of you to finally grace us with your presence. I don't react to the bite in her tone. I wasn't aware it was required so early. Her lips curve in something almost like amusement. You are always required. I don't miss the way Kiris tenses beside me, the silent warning in his posture. Play this carefully, blood air. I shift my weight slightly. To what do I owe the honor? Her eyes flick to the door. Your little assassin's been keeping you busy, I assume. Fuck. I smirk. Would you like to ask her yourself? My mother hums. Perhaps later. For now, we have more pressing concerns. She lifts a delicate hand, gesturing to one of the guards near the doors. The doors swing open. And two soldiers drag a man into the throne room. Ezrin. He's barely conscious, his face bloodied and swollen, his robes torn, one arm hanging limply at his side. He's kneeling before I even realize they've forced him down, his breath coming in ragged gasps. Kiris and I don't flinch. Queen Evelora tilts her head, studying Ezrin with cold detachment. This morning, we found one of my most trusted sages abandoned. It took us hours to find him. He made it to the border, beaten, afraid. She exhales lightly, almost bored. Curious, isn't it? I raise a brow. Indeed. Ezrin lifts his head weakly, his gaze locking onto me, and for a second, just a second, I see it. Recognition. Fear. He won't talk. He wouldn't dare. Would he? I let my expression settle into mild disinterest. I assume you expect me to care. My mother smiles. No, but I do expect you to explain. I keep my posture relaxed. Why would I have anything to explain? Her smile sharpens. Because Ezrin had something stolen from him. I glance at Riss. She doesn't move. My mother's nails tap against the arm of her throne. Something invaluable. A beat of silence. Ezrin's shaking now, his breath hitching. His body screams agony, but he doesn't speak. Smart. Or stupid. Depends on how long he lasts. My mother sighs, and unfortunately for him, I do not take kindly to thieves. She turns her attention fully to me. But you already know that, don't you, Riven? Listen to me, Riven. I do not care if you are my son. You break the rules, I will break you, and you already know that. She walks around me, her cloak whispering across the floor. You are both dismissed. I give my mother one last look before her soldiers open up the door for me. Kiris follows me out, falling into step beside me as we exit the throne room. The second the doors close behind us, he lets out a low breath, Syerin coming into view. Well, he mutters, that was fun. I shoot him a look, shut up. Syerin hums, I think your mother likes me. I huff a laugh, she'd like you better dead. She grins, she can try. Kiris pinches the bridge of his nose. Remind me why I still associate with either of you. I clap him on the back, because you love us. He groans. But I don't miss the way his lips twitch. How's Kale doing? Luril walks beside me, absent-mindedly. I know something's going on between the two of them. She's been visiting the healer's quadrant every day. Still the same as Lucian, both blissfully asleep. Luril glances over at me, her lips curling slightly. I was hoping he'd be more responsive by now, but I suppose it's not really up to us, is it? I shake my head. No, we just have to wait. That's all we can do. She sighs, throwing her hands up in the air. Wanna go for another round? I nod towards the training hall doors as we pass by it. Or we could do something more fun. That gets her attention. What do you suggest? A slow smirk tugs at my lips. Something that doesn't involve nearly breaking my ribs again. Luril grins, nudging me with her elbow. Oh, come on, you bruised easily that day. I roll my eyes. I was caught off guard. Excuses, excuses. I shove open the doors to the training hall, letting the scent of steel and sweat wash over us. The space is mostly empty at this hour, save for a few scattered weapons left behind from earlier sparring sessions. I grab a dagger from a nearby rack and spin it between my fingers, considering my options. We could go steal something. Luril arches a brow. Steal what? I shrug. Whatever's most inconvenient. She hums, pretending to consider it. Tempting. But knowing our luck, we'd end up in even more trouble. True, I spin the dagger once more before flicking it into the center of a target across the room. Then how about sneaking into the royal archives? Her eyes narrow. To find what? I don't know yet, but don't you ever wonder what they keep hidden in there? Luril crosses her arms, watching me carefully. You're deflecting. I huff a laugh, maybe. She tilts her head. You don't like waiting, do you? I clench my jaw. Not when I have no control over the outcome. She studies me for a long moment before exhaling. Fine, let's break into the archives. I blink, that easy. She smirks. I was already planning to. I chuckle, shaking my head as we turn toward the exit. You're a terrible influence. Since Riven and I stole the data from Ezian, my mind's been constantly on the archives. The records of all Ascension trials are kept there, with footage. There could be something there, something to get me out of whatever trouble I've put myself in. I just have to wait until nightfall. The training grounds are nearly empty when I step outside. The air is crisp, carrying the faint scent of damp stone and the heat from the day's training sessions. A few of Ironspire's warriors are still here, some hunting their footwork, others sharpening blades or tending to bruises from earlier fights. I spot Riven near the edge of the grounds, standing beside a sparring ring, deep in conversation with one of his generals. Even from a distance, I can see the tension in his muscles and the tight knot of his eyebrows. Whatever they're discussing, it's not going well. He catches my gaze for half a second before looking away. I scowl, turning around. Across the courtyard, a group of younger recruits are huddled together, whispering about something with barely contained excitement. Curious, I make my way toward them. What's going on? One of them, a girl with a nervous energy, looks up. There's a Dreeth sighting, she says in a hushed voice, just beyond the northern wall. My brows lift. A Dreeth this close. That's rare. Then again, chances of being face to face with one is even rarer. Luril suddenly appears beside me, her arms crossed. They say it was massive, she adds. Silver scales, black horns. Some of the guards saw it before it disappeared into the trees. I glance toward the northern wall, my fingers twitching at the thought. No one's tried tracking it. The sentinels are still debating whether it's worth the risk. Another recruit chimes in. Dreeth don't usually attack unless provoked, but if it's this close, it might be injured. I exhale, or hunting. Lurel nudges me. You thinking what I'm thinking? I grin. Let's go find a Dreeth. I strap my swords to my back, sheathing a few daggers at my thighs and the pockets in my vest. It's been a few weeks since the last trial, so I'm expecting that the next one will be thrown at us soon, and before that happens, we need answers. We need to find that Dreeth. Luril watches as I secure the last blade, her hair braided into a crown, and her eyes narrowed. You do realize this is probably the worst idea we've had all week. Little does she know. I flash her a grin. We still have time to make worse ones. She sighs, but the glint in her eyes betrays her. Fine, let's just try not to get eaten. We slip through the courtyard under the cover of dusk, avoiding the main pathways where guards patrol. The northern wall is up ahead, its towering stone structure partially concealed by creeping ivy and the deepening shadows of evening. Beyond it, the tree line stands dark and dense, the perfect place for something as massive as a Dreeth to hide. The moment we reach the wall, Luril crouches, pressing her back against the stone. I say we wait, watch for a bit. If it's still out there, then we move. I tilt my head, listening. The wind shifts, carrying with it the faintest trace of something metallic. Not just the scent of damp earth and leaves, something sharper. Blood. I glance at Luril. Something's already happened. She frowns, scanning the darkness ahead. You sure? I nod. It's faint, but it's there. A rustle in the undergrowth makes us both freeze. Luril's hand darts to the hilt of her blade. I follow her gaze to the trees, where the movement is subtle but unmistakable. Something's there. I slide a dagger from my belt, grip tightening. On 3. Luril gives a short nod. 1. 2. A low growl, rumbles from the darkness. We don't get to 3. The Dreith lunges. I barely have time to throw myself sideways before its massive bulk crashes through the underbrush, silver scales, catching the last traces of light as it moves with terrifying speed. I roll, coming up on one knee, my daggers ready. Luril is already in motion, vaulting over a fallen log and landing with cat-like grace. "It's injured," she shouts. I see it now, the dark stain along its hind leg, a deep gash where black ichor seeps from its scales. It snarls, lips curling back over rows of dagger-like teeth, but its movements are sluggish. It's been hunted. I don't have time to wonder by whom. The Dreith's wings snap open, and with a powerful beat, it sends a gust of wind blasting through the clearing, knocking me off balance. I dig my heels into the dirt, bracing against the force. Luril moves first. She ducks low, dashing toward the creature's injured side. If it's hurt, we can. A second growl cuts her off. But it's not from the Dreith. A shadow moves at the edge of the clearing, the glint of steel catching my eye. My stomach tightens. Careful, we're not the only ones hunting tonight. Luril stiffens beside me, her gaze snapping toward the movement in the trees. My grip tightens on my daggers as I rise to my feet, my senses sharpening. Whoever else is out here, they're skilled. I hadn't heard their approach. No stray branches snapping, no rustling leaves, nothing but the whisper of steel and the weight of something watching. The Dreith growls low in its throat, its massive head swinging toward the tree line. It knows, too. Then I can feel it, everywhere. A figure emerges from the shadows, stepping into the clearing as if they'd been part of the darkness itself. Tall, clad in dark armor that absorbs the moonlight. A hood is pulled low over their face, but I catch the gleam of a mask beneath it, metallic, molded to fit the contours of their jaw like a second skin. I recognize them instantly. Sentinels, but not iron spires. And they're not here for the Dreith. Oh shit. I move without thinking, stepping between Luril and the newcomer. "This hunt yours?" I ask, voice carefully neutral. The sentinel tilts their head, studying me. Then they speak, their voice distorted slightly by the mask. "You shouldn't be here." I resist the urge to scoff. Neither should you. A flick of their wrist, and a blade slides free from the sheath at their side. Long, curved, wickedly sharp. Step away from the creature. I glance at the Dreith. It's breathing heavily, black ichor still dripping from its wound. If it's backed into a corner, it'll fight. And a fight with a wounded Dreith is a fight no one wins. Luril exhales sharply. "It's injured," she says. "If you're planning to put it down, at least let us." A second figure emerges from the trees, then a third. I curse under my breath. There's a whole unit of them. "This isn't your concern," the first sentinel says coolly. "Leave." I know what this is. They're not here for the Dreith. They're here for something else. Someone else. My stomach turns. Whatever this is, it's bigger than just a hunt, and if the sentinels are involved, it means orders from above. They're not the Queen's sentinels either. which means they only come from one place, black like shadow, masks that don't come off their faces. Syerin. A choice settles in my chest, heavy as stone. I can walk away, let this play out however the sentinels intend. Or I can stay and throw myself right into whatever hell they're about to unleash. I need those answers before I die, and I'm willing to do anything to get them. Luril looks at me waiting, trusting. The Dreeth growls again, shifting on unsteady legs. The sentinel steps forward, blade glinting. I make my decision. My hand tightens around the dagger at my side, muscles coiling as I weigh my options. Luril is waiting on my lead. The Dreeth is watching with glowing, predatory eyes, and the sentinels. There are at least 4 of them now, stand like statues of iron and shadow, waiting for me to make the first move. I could walk away. I could let them handle this, pretend I don't see the warning signs in the way they're circling, how they haven't even bothered to assess the Dreeth's wound before raising their blades. But I don't, because something about this feels wrong. And I trust my instincts. I shift subtly, moving closer to the Dreeth while keeping my focus on the sentinels. What exactly is your order here? I ask, keeping my voice steady. Because if you're here to kill it, you're going about it all wrong. The lead sentinel doesn't move. You don't need to know our orders. Then humor me, I say lightly. Because from where I'm standing, this doesn't look like a standard hunt. You're surrounding it like it's some kind of target, not a wounded beast. The Dreeth lets out a low, rumbling snarl. Luril stiffens beside me. I don't think they're going to answer. I already know that. Which means we won't like the reason why. The air thickens, tension snapping tight like a drawn bowstring. The sentinels shift, small movements but trained precise. They're positioning themselves, ready to strike. Not just at the Dreeth. At us. I barely have a second to react before the lead sentinel moves. Fast, too fast. Their blade cuts through the space where I'd been standing a heartbeat ago, but I twist, dodging at the last second. Luril isn't as patient. She draws her sword in a flash of steel, meeting the second sentinel's strike with a sharp clang that rings through the trees. The Dreeth rears up with a vicious, wounded roar, its powerful tail sweeping through the clearing. One of the sentinels is too slow to avoid it, sent sprawling into the underbrush with a crash. The fight begins. I parry another attack, my daggers meeting the sentinel's blade in a brutal clash. Their strength is nothing short of inhuman, each strike forcing me back, each movement honed with deadly precision. Whoever they aren't just trained. They're enhanced. Oh shit. Luril ducks under a spinning kick, using the opening to slam her pommel into her opponent's ribs. The sentinel barely staggers. I snarl under my breath, no more playing nice. Feinting left, I let my opponent think I'm retreating, then twist, slamming my elbow into their side before driving a dagger into the gap between their armor plates. A hiss of pain, but no blood. The sentinel jerks back, my dagger slipping free as if I'd stabbed through air. You need to retreat. They are not human marker. I don't get the time before the one with the silver mask lunges forward and knocks me out. I can hear Luril scream my name, and just before my vision betrays me, I see her body fall to the floor. A crowd roars. Sweat drips down my face as I'm dragged and thrown onto something that feels a lot like sand. I groan as someone grips my hair, ripping the black bag of my face. The crowd ignites. My gaze shifts to the sand, not beige like it usually is. The sand is black. I scramble to my feet, fear striking me. Remember me? That voice has me turning around, my body poised in a fighting stance. I'm face to face, with black clothing and a silver mask. No. Snumber now. No. Where have you brought me? He chuckles, the sound distorted as he leans in closer. I think you know the answer to that. He throws a dagger at me, but I make no move to catch it, watching as it falls to the floor in front of me. Good luck, Yuri. My heart stops beating. The blood stops flowing in my veins. I feel like I could die right here, right now. Yuri. He called me Yuri. The world tilts, spinning out of control. The name, the sound of it, Yuri, echoes through my mind like a haunting melody I've tried so hard to forget. A name I buried beneath layers of lies and distance. My legs tremble, barely keeping me upright. How does he know that name? How does he? I glance at the silver mask, my heart pounding in my chest. My mind races, desperately trying to connect the dots, but the answer evades me. My throat feels dry, every word I want to speak caught in a knot that refuses to loosen. I'm not Yuri. My voice cracks, raw and desperate. I'm not her. He takes a slow step forward, his posture so unnervingly calm that it makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. Oh, but you are. No matter how much you fight it, no matter how far you run, Yuri will always be inside of you. My stomach lurches at his words. He knows, somehow, he knows everything. I force my breath to steady. Who are you? The mask tilts, as if considering me. Then the low chuckle rings out again, echoing in the black sand around us. I am the one who's waited a long time for you to remember, Yuri. And now, we'll see just how much of you remains. He raises a gloved hand, and in an instant the air around us grows thick, heavy with the weight of something ancient. I know this feeling deep down in my bones. The power, the darkness, the past. Let's see how much you can fight it, shall we? Syerin, my head whips to the side, then upwards, because 10 feet high in the air, and tied up across 2 poles over the field is Luril. Blood drips down the side of her head, bruises marring her skin. Welcome back to Urindrail, Syerin, he says. You want her to live. He points upwards, leaning down close. Then don't die. My breath hitches at the sight of Luril. Her body hangs limp between the poles, her head lolling to one side as if she's barely conscious. Blood stains the side of her face, and my stomach churns with guilt. This is my fault. The man's words drip with cruel amusement, but they don't land. My focus is on Luril, the woman who stood beside me through the worst of it all. She didn't deserve this. I did. Let her go, I growl, my voice low but deadly. My body is on edge, my every muscle coiled tight as I fight the urge to charge him. The masked figure doesn't flinch. Instead, he chuckles again, stepping back as if he has all the time in the world. The crowd's roars grow louder, feeding the tension in the air. That depends on you, Yuri. How badly do you want her to live? My heart beats in overdrive. I won't fail her. But he's testing me, testing everything. I lift my gaze back to Luril. I know this game, I know it too well. He wants me to break. Tell me what I need to do, I demand, my voice steady despite the tremor of panic underneath. I can't afford to lose control. Not now. Not when she's hanging by a thread. Syerin Cayde. The marker, that's what they call you, don't they? A girl, so very young, a skilled assassin. Supposedly lives in the wastes where she learned to live all by herself. How much of the story do they know? 5 years of your life, perhaps. Maybe even 7 at most. He walks around me, shadows twirling around his fingers that terrifyingly reminds me of Riven. You are not Syerin Cayde. You are Yuri Sarath. Bring her back. He whispers, the edge of his mask skimming my ear. He crosses his fingers before he jumps up. By jump, I mean he jumps 5 feet in the air into the stands. Everything hits me at once. I'm in Urindrail. They know about me. I'll be missing at Ironspire. I could be executed. The gates around the arena hiss. Metal groans as the gates slowly drag open, revealing the darkness beyond. My heartbeat pounds against my ribs, but I don't move. I know better than to rush in blind. The crowd quiets, anticipation thick in the air, like they're savoring the moment before the slaughter. Sand shifts beneath my boots as I take a cautious step back. My fingers twitch toward the dagger at my waist, the only weapon I have. Not enough. A low growl rumbles from the shadows. Then something moves. A pair of eyes, gold, luminous, blink open in the dark. Another growl, deeper this time, vibrating through the arena floor. I know what's coming before I see it. Dreeth. A beast of nightmares. Muscles coiled with power, its inky black body blends into the shadows, save for the faint shimmer of iridescent scales along its back. Massive, clawed feet dig into the sand as it prowls forward, each step deliberate, measured. Its nostrils flare. It's scenting me. My stomach twists. This isn't a fight. This is a death sentence. The masked figure lounges in the stands above, fingers steepled as he watches. Waiting. I know what he wants. He wants me to fall back into her, into Yuri Sarath, the warrior, the girl who should have died here but didn't. My grip tightens on the dagger. I am not her. But right now, I might have to be. The Dreeth hisses before it lunges forward, and I narrowly dodge before its claws sink into me. It's absolutely massive, and I can tell it's been enhanced. Let me in. Enhance me. She complies, and I can feel a portion of her power seep into my body. When the Dreeth moves forward again, I plant my feet in the ground before I jump upwards, making a height of apt 3 FT and jump onto its back. The creature shrieks as I drag my blade across its bony back, but the wound gets healed quickly. Too quickly. The crowd erupts in excitement, the arena shaking with the force of their cheers. My heart pounds as I grip onto the Dreith's ridged spine, my mind racing. It heals too fast. Every gash I leave behind vanishes within seconds. There's something unnatural about it. The Dreith bucks wildly beneath me, its body twisting with enough force to send me flying if I'm not careful. I dig my knees into its sides, holding on with everything I have. Its scales burn hot under my palms, heat poolsing through them in time with its ragged breaths. I can't kill this thing, not like this. The masked figure watches from above, his posture almost relaxed, like he already knows the outcome, like he's seen this before. I grit my teeth. No, he doesn't get to decide how this ends. The Dreith roars again, shaking its head violently. I lunge forward, pressing my palm against the base of its skull. I focus, not just on the creature itself, but what's inside of it, whatever magic is keeping it together. Let me in. For a moment, there's nothing. Just the thunderous sound of my heartbeat and the searing heat beneath my hand. Her hand crawls across my body, gripping my chin, then she snaps. Her power is unleashed in my body. I can feel it coursing through me. The crowd goes absolutely wild, and I smirk when the sentinel's body goes rigid. I can feel the Dreith now. I can feel its darkness and power. Magic. Someone bound this creature, enchanted. That's why it doesn't die. I barely have time to react before the Dreith whips its head back, its massive jaws snapping at my legs. I push off its back, flipping midair and landing hard on the sand. Magic can be broken. I just need to find the source. The Dreith lunges again, and this time I don't move. I wait. At the last second, I duck low, sliding beneath its massive body and slashing at the joints in its legs. Not to wound, but to search. And then I feel it. A pulse of magic. Not inside the Dreith, but beneath it. Now. I roll away as it slams a clawed foot down where I'd been, sand scattering everywhere. I still. The Dreith moves, its tattered cloak rustling the sand. I take a deep breath and let the goddess power take over. My veins glow red and my arms move forward into a cross, then I let it burn. The Dreith shrieks as I interrupt its blood flow, stopping it completely. Its body convulses, a horrible, strangled sound ripping from its throat as the blood magic takes hold. The glow from my veins pulses like a heartbeat, one that doesn't belong to me, but to the creature writhing before me. It thrashes wildly, its claws carving deep grooves into the black sand, its maw opening in a silent scream. The crowd goes feral. They chant, scream, pound their fists against the stands as the Dreith's body stiffens, locked in place by the force of my magic. I clench my fists tighter, hold. The sentinel watches from above, hands still steepled, but I don't look at him. My gaze is locked on the beast, on the way the unnatural glow in its golden eyes flickers, dims, then. A silence. The creature collapses. For a moment, nothing happens. My chest rises and falls in ragged breaths as I slowly lower my hands. A hush falls over the crowd, the roaring excitement dulling into stunned quiet. Then the realization hits them, and the arena erupts. The stands tremble with the force of their cheers, their screams of bloodlust shaking the grounds of the kingdom. My ears ring from the sheer volume, but I barely register it. My gaze is already moving to her. Zlurel. Still tied between the poles, her body limp, head barely lifted. Blood drips from her split lip, staining her collarbone. I have to move, now. I don't think, I don't hesitate. I sprint toward the nearest pole, bending my knees before launching myself into the air. The crowd gasps. My body soars upward, higher, until my fingers grasp the wooden beam. I swing myself over with ease, balancing on the narrow space beside where Luril hangs. Her breathing is shallow, her eyes fluttering open at the sudden movement. Syerin, she croaks. I've got you, I promise. With quick, precise movements, I pull a dagger from my waist and slice through the thick ropes binding her wrists. Her body slumps forward, and I catch her before she can fall. She's weak. My grip tightens. Then, without another second of hesitation, I drop. The fall is fast, but I twist our bodies midair, ensuring that I land first. My feet hit the black sand with force, bending my knees to absorb the impact as Luril's weight presses against me. I hold her close, bracing her against my chest, her body trembling from exhaustion. The crowd loses their minds. Screams of triumph, disbelief, pure carnage. The entire arena is a storm of noise, but all I hear is Luril's ragged breathing against my ear. The masked sentinel watches from above, his silver mask glinting under the arena lights. His posture is unnervingly relaxed, but I don't miss the way his fingers tap against his knee, slow and deliberate. His head tilts slightly to the side, and I catch a glimpse of dark hair beneath his hood. He moves forward, pulling himself up onto the railing, and then in a flash he's in front of me. Well done, Yuri. A pause. Then, almost amused, he adds, or should I say, Syerin. My heart beats even quicker. My red hair whips around my face. He steps forward, the black fabric of his cloak shifting with the movement. You always were a stubborn one, weren't you? He exhales a slow breath, then spreads his arms wide, as if welcoming me home. You fought well, I'll give you that. A shadow curls around his fingers, dark, writhing, familiar. My throat tightens. Who are you? I demand, my voice sharp. He chuckles. You don't remember. A slight tilt of his head. Then again, you were always good at forgetting things that didn't serve you. I grind my teeth. Say your name. His mask catches the light as he leans forward, and I can practically see the smirk that's spreading behind that mask. He chuckles, his voice deep. Callan Rye. Callan Rye, the commanding general of Urindrail's army. But it's not that. That has my eyes widening. It's Rye, because I only know one other person with that name. That's right, little one. Or should I say, little fox? Why, your Kirith's brother. I managed to croak out. When you decided to leave Urindrail, we had your memories of this place wiped. This kingdom has been obviously written down in the books, but no one knows where it is, and you were fortunate enough to run into my group the other day. Slowly by slowly, your memories will return, and this time we will allow you to keep them under one condition. Callan turns sharply on his heel, striding toward a heavy iron door embedded in the stone wall of the arena. He gestures for me to follow, and when I hesitate, 2 armored sentinels move in closer, not quite touching me, but making it clear I don't have a choice. I barely register the threat as I stare at Callan Rye, Kyrith's brother. The realization sends something sharp curling in my gut, but I don't have time to process it before his men arrive. 2 of them move toward Lurael, who remains slumped against the ground, her breaths shallow. I shift instinctively, half a step toward her, but Callan holds up a hand. She'll be taken care of. Urendrail's healers are very powerful. I don't trust him, but I trust the alternative even less. I clench my jaw as I watch his men lift Lurael, carrying her out of the arena through a separate passage. A cold knot settles in my stomach, but I force myself to focus on Callan, who is already turning toward the entrance. Come, he doesn't check if I follow. He knows I will. The iron door groans as Callan pushes it open, revealing a dimly lit corridor lined with flickering sconces. The air is thick with the scent of stone, metal, and something faintly familiar, like old books and cold air before a storm. I don't want to follow him, but I do. The sentinels flank me as we move deeper into Urendrail. The stone beneath my boots is smooth, worn down by centuries of footsteps. This place is older than I remember, or maybe it's just that I don't remember at all. Callan walks ahead, his posture rigid, his cloak sweeping behind him. We take a sharp turn, and suddenly the hallway opens into a grand chamber. A massive war table dominates the space, maps and documents scattered across its surface. Markings of battle lines, troop formations, and at the very center, Ironspire. The sight of it sends something dark curling in my chest. Callan rounds the table, watching me closely as I take it in. You were always sharp, he says, voice calm, almost expectant. So tell me, what do you see? I tear my gaze from the map, meeting his eyes, or rather that silver mask. I see Ironspire on a war map. I see a kingdom that shouldn't exist playing a game it shouldn't be in. A smirk flickers across his face. And yet here you stand, part of it whether you like it or not. I exhale sharply, crossing my arms. What do you want from me, Callan? You've made it clear you need something. His expression hardens. We don't just need you, Cayde. We need what's in your blood. A chill prickles down my spine. What the hell does that mean? Callan glances at the map. You might not remember Urendrail, but this kingdom remembers you, and it remembers what you are. His words slither down my spine like ice. I hear you're competing in the Ascension trials this year alongside Ironspire's heirs. Callan steps closer. No matter how skilled you are, the princes will always be more powerful than you. So tell me, Syerin, how exactly are you alive? My heart beats quicker. The mark on my back burns like a warning. He knows. Get out of here. The general is not your ally. Could it be that they've grown fond of you? Maybe a few feelings have caught up. He looks at me dead in the eyes. Or could it be that mark on your back that you've so desperately tried to hide? A dagger of ice lodges itself in my chest. I don't move, don't breathe. He knows. I force my expression to remain still, but my pulse is hammering against my ribs. My arms stay folded across my chest, fingers digging into my sleeves as if I can press the heat from my mark back into my skin, make it disappear. Careful, I say, keeping my voice level. Throwing around accusations like that could get you killed. Callan lets out a quiet chuckle, tilting his head. Is that a threat, Cayde? You tell me, I bite back. A long silence stretches between us. The war table, the maps, the flickering sconces, they all fade into the background under his stare. Then, finally, he exhales, shaking his head. You always were a difficult one. I don't answer. He turns slightly, placing both hands on the table, fingers splayed over Ironspire's marked position. He taps the map. Ironspire has always been a threat, but now it's more than that. The Ascension trials are nothing but a game for the gods and their chosen. His gaze lifts back to me. And you, Syerin, are their latest player. I shake my head. If you think I'm going to fight your war for you, you already are. The words slam into me, sharp and final. I clench my fists. I don't fight for anyone but myself. Callan's smirk is cold. And yet, here you stand, bleeding for a kingdom that doesn't belong to you, carrying a mark that shouldn't exist, bound to a god who should have remained buried. Something inside me twists violently. He leans in just slightly. You're out of time, Yuri. Whatever game you think you're playing, Ironspire is playing it better. They're using you just as much as the gods are. I don't believe in gods, I say through gritted teeth. He sighs, running a hand through his dark hair. Look, I don't care about the mark or whatever shit you've gotten yourself into. Tenebris has been freed. The Dreath are just the beginning, but slowly by slowly the curse is lifting, and I think you know why. I look up at him cautiously, because the gods have all marked someone. Bingo, but out of all them, you're the only one that has fully transformed, right? He cocks his head to the side and I groan, nodding. There's no point in hiding anything anymore. What do you want? The gods may have been trapped under Ironspire, but their souls have long been shifted into Tenebris. With their power starting to kick in from their hosts letting them in, the curse will break and the gods will be freed. They are using the Ascension trials to find the marked. What about the rebellions? I've heard that Khalston and the other kingdoms are planning on waging war against Ironspire. But that's not what's happening really, is it? These kingdoms are trying to provide materials to people with lesser magic, not strong enough to be considered Zyre, but not fail either. These people are trying to artificially produce Zyre magic. Elendrael's data says they're getting close, but not for at least a good year or two will it happen. I don't know how much more information my brain can handle before it explodes. How is that even possible? I whisper, my mind racing. He shrugs. We don't know yet, but before we can even start thinking about that, we need to stop Tenebris from waking up. A sharp knock comes from the door and a sentinel enters. General, he says, tipping his hat. Callan glances at the time and winces. Seems we ran a bit over time. So here's your condition. You keep your memories this time, but you speak of this to no one. You stay out of Urindrail's way. And when we call for you, you come. I stare at him, and if I don't... Callan exhales, shaking his head. Then you'll never remember any of this again. A heavy silence settles between us. I hate this. I hate him. But more than anything, I hate that I don't have a choice. Fine, I bite out. I'll keep my mouth shut. We leave for the northern wall in an hour. The journey back is colder than I remember. The wind cuts through my cloak as we ride through the frozen expanse, the towering black pines stretching endlessly on either side. The sky is a deep slate gray, the promise of snowfall hanging heavy in the air. I keep my gaze ahead, my mind churning with everything Callan has told me. My memories, my past, the war that I might already be tangled in, whether I want to be or not. Callan rides beside me in silence, his face covered by the shadows of his hood. Luril rides beside me, and the healers did an excellent job. No sight of any marring on her face, and she seems fully recovered. We don't speak until the first sight of Ironspire emerges through the mist. The northern wall comes into view up ahead, and Callan reins in his horse, his silver eyes flicking to me, dropping his voice so Luril can't hear. Remember, he murmurs, voice quiet but firm, you are Syerin Cayde, not Yuri Sareth. I meet his gaze. And then, without warning, he reaches forward, slicing through the bindings on my wrists, before shoving me off the horse. I hit the snow hard, the breath knocked from my lungs. I gasp, pushing myself up just in time to see Callan and his men vanish into the mist, their cloaks billowing behind them. A ghost in the dawn. I grit my teeth and turn toward Ironspire. Asshole, I murmur. I turn to Luril. We haven't spoken since the fight in the arena. I'm never listening to you again, she says. Morning rises too early. My body is still sore from yesterday, and it keeps me from pinching myself to check whether it was all real. They did an excellent job in healing Luril, so she looks perfectly normal as we walk to the dining hall, but my muscles groan as we walk. It's busy today. Maids and soldiers march back and forth throughout the hallways, their faces all giddy. It's too much energy for me to handle right now. All I want is for things to go back to the way they were. Oh, come on, Yuri. Giving up your legacy. What the fuck? I scream as Callan's voice appears, in my head. Instead of screaming, how about you try thinking? Everything okay, Sy? You look like shit. I roll my eyes, trying to calm myself down. Feel like it too. How are you in my head? I won't be for long. Let's just say we slipped something into the water you drank at Urindrail. The mental image of me strangling Callan pops up, and God, does it feel good? Listen to me. Lucian and Kale Knox are awake. I freeze mid-step. Lucian and Kale are awake. The words ring in my skull. People pass by, but I barely notice. My fingers twitch at my sides, itching to grab something, to steady myself against the sudden rush of thoughts slamming into me all at once. Ow. I don't say it out loud, but Callan hears me anyway. They woke up hours ago. Your little encounter with Erendrael's forces might have sped up the process. My throat goes dry. I should be relieved, should feel something close to victory that they're no longer trapped in whatever magic-bound sleep they'd been placed under. But instead, a darker thought settles in. As if they're awake, then they know. They know everything. That I'm here, that I've changed, that I'm compatible. I'd be careful if I were you, Callan continues, voice a lazy hum. Lucian's always had an ego, but Cale, that one doesn't play fair. I clench my jaw. I don't play fair either. Callan chuckles. We'll see. And just like that, his presence vanishes from my mind, leaving behind only the slow-burning anger curling through my ribs. Sigh. Luril nudges my arm, brows furrowed. You good? No, I am absolutely not good. But I force out a breath, nodding once. Yeah, my voice comes out steadier than I expect. Let's just eat. I keep walking, keep moving forward like nothing is wrong, like my world hasn't just tilted off its axis again. The dining hall doors come into view ahead, sentinels stationed on either side. They don't even glance at us as they push the doors open, revealing the long tables filled with competitors, knights, and high-ranking officials. The scent of roasted meat, fresh bread, and spiced tea fills the air, but my stomach is too knotted to care. I scan the room instinctively. My gaze snags on a familiar figure at the high table. Riven. Then my heart practically stops as I see brown and familiar dark hair. He wasn't lying. And it seems it's not just me that they have absolutely shocked. Luril's jaw is gaped open, and one of the other competitors, Andrea, pushes past us only to stop again. They're awake, she whispers. Andrea's amber eyes gleam as she looks at us. How? Neither me or Luril answer because we don't know. But if they're awake, it means the next trial is going to be coming. I force myself to take a step, but when Lucian's eyes lock onto me, the guilt of it comes crashing back, and I feel like I could just explode right then and there. I can't do it. I shake my head, turning around. My mark burns like shit, but it's not enough to distract me from this. Sai, it's okay. It's not your fault. They're finally awake, and the last thing you want to do is push them away. Luril says, placing a warm hand on my shoulder. It is all my fault. You don't understand. I look back this time at Cale. He's pale, his eyes marred by dark circles even though all he's done is nothing but sleep. His golden eyes meet mine, but instead of any judging or anger, his eyes soften and he gives me a small nod. The curse on Tenebris is breaking. The gods have marked both of them and therefore have let them go to get themselves free. Before I can respond, a deafening sound splits through the air. It's not a normal sound. It's a deep, guttural roar, followed by the ground shaking beneath my feet. The plates and goblets on the dining tables rattle violently, and a sharp gasp cuts through the hall as people scramble to steady themselves. The competitors draw their weapons, and I instinctively find myself looking for Riven. "A Syerin," he shouts. The sentinels stationed by the doors stagger, hands going to their weapons, but it's already too late. A sharp pressure wraps around my chest, crushing, suffocating. Then the world explodes. Golden light engulfs the room, swallowing everything. It stretches in every direction, bending and twisting reality itself. My vision goes white-hot, a violent ringing splitting through my skull. My body wrenches forward, weightless, as if something is pulling me through a void. It's unbearable. "Riven," I try to shout, but my words get caught. I reach blindly for anything solid to hold on to, but my fingers meet nothing but empty space. My body burns, like my bones are being reassembled, every nerve screaming in protest. My mark sears against my back, sending shocks of pain through my limbs. A voice booms through the void. The next trial begins now. And then, everything goes dark. I hit the ground hard. Air rushes from my lungs as I slam into damp earth, my body jarring with the impact. The scent of wet leaves and pine needles floods my senses, and for a moment, all I can do is lie there, blinking up at a canopy of twisted, gnarled trees. A forest. Thick mist drapes over the land, curling around trunks like skeletal fingers. The air is unnervingly silent, no distant voices, no footsteps, just the eerie rustling of unseen creatures. A sharp breeze cuts through the trees, carrying the scent of moss and bark. I push myself up, muscles aching, my vision adjusting. My fingers curl into the dirt, grounding myself as my pulse slams against my ribs. I'm alone. No Luriel, no competitors, no Ironspire, no Riven. I drag a shaky breath into my lungs, trying to piece it together. A trial. That much is obvious. But why transport us like that? And where is everyone else? The snap of a branch to my left sends my hand flying to my daggers. I turn sharply, body coiled to strike. But it's not a person. A small, glowing orb hovers just above the forest floor, pulsing faintly with blue light. Its glow flickers, shimmering like trapped starlight. As soon as my gaze locks onto it, the orb shudders, then shoots forward through the trees. A single word flashes through my mind. Fal. I don't move. I don't trust this. A pulse of heat flares through my mark, sending another surge of energy into the air. I stagger back as glowing golden words begin to carve themselves into the sky, floating in front of me like a decree from the gods. Trial of the hunt. The competitors are scattered. Some are allies, some are enemies. Your goal is simple. Survive. And win. The words burn themselves into my mind as they vanish into the mist. My grip on my daggers tightens. Whatever this is, it's already started. Then, a scream splits the silence. I can hear footsteps running fast. Something cold and sharp curls in my gut. I run. I don't look back, I run. Out of the competitors left me, Luriel and Jollies are the last fail left. The Sire will be gunning for us first, and by the sounds of it, looks like someone has already found me. You can't outrun me, Cayde. Shit, it's Vise. Mist appears, curling around my legs like a living thing, dragging at my feet as I push forward. Branches whip past my face, thorns tearing into my arms, but I don't stop. I can't stop. I don't bother answering. Words won't save me, and neither will running for much longer. My lungs burn, my heart hammering so hard it drowns out the sound of my own footsteps. Every instinct screams at me to turn, to fight, but I don't even know what I'm up against. Then, a shadow lunges from the mist. I barely react in time. Vise crashes into me, slamming me down with brute force. The impact knocks the air from my lungs, pain shooting through my ribs as we hit the damp earth. My dagger is already in my hand, swinging up, but he's faster. A knee drives into my stomach, pinning me down. Vi's grin is wild, eyes gleaming in the low light. His silver hair hangs in damp strands over his forehead, his body coiled like a predator who knows he's already won. You're fast, he admits, breathless, but not fast enough. I spit blood at him. It lands on his cheek, mixing with the sweat and dirt. He only laughs. Still got that fight in you. Good, makes this more fun. He punches me in the ribs. Pain explodes through my side. I choke on air, gasping. The force rattles through my bones, sharp and unrelenting. My vision swims, but I bite back the scream. I won't give him that. Vise shifts his weight, hand wrapping around my throat. How about I make this easy? He murmurs, and then he lifts his hands. My airways close. Spots dance in my vision. No, no, no. I stab blindly. My blade slices across his forearm. Not deep enough to sever anything, but enough to make him snarl and loosen his grip. That's all I need. I roll hard, slamming my knee into his ribs. He grunts, his hold slipping just enough for me to twist free. I scramble up, lunging back with my second dagger, but he's already moving. His foot sweeps my legs out from under me, sending me crashing back down. You can't be Syerin, you piece of shit. Omething snakes around my ankles and pulls me down to the floor. Vi's hand closes around my wrist, twisting. Something snaps. White-hot pain rips through my arm. I scream. It's instinct. Raw, unfiltered agony surges through me, radiating from my wrist where it bends at a sickening angle. I see the break before I feel it fully, my vision blurring at the edges. The world tilts. No, no, no. Vise leans in, voice dripping with mock sympathy. Did that hurt? I see red. I lurch forward, head-butting him. It's not graceful, but it works. His grip slips, just enough for me to shove him back. My body is screaming at me, but I force it to move. My right wrist is useless, but my left still works. I grip my dagger tight, pushing through the blinding pain. Vise grins. That's more like it. Then he lunges. I don't have time to think. I drop low, twisting at the last second. His blade skims past my ribs, missing by inches. My muscles scream in protest, but I ignore it. My right arm is dead weight, but I fight through it, using my momentum to bring my left dagger straight across his thigh. He hisses, staggers, I lunge for the kill. A sudden explosion of sound. A roar. Not from Vise. Something massive moves in the mist. My blood turns to ice. Vise goes still, too. His chest rises and falls rapidly, his silver hair damp with sweat. But his eyes flick past me into the trees. His smirk vanishes. That's when I hear it. A slow, deep growl. Something is watching us. Vise exhales sharply, wiping blood from his cheek. Looks like we've got company. I follow his gaze. Between the trees, something huge shifts. Glowing, golden eyes blink from the shadows. A deep, guttural snarl rumbles through the mist, shaking the ground beneath us. My fingers tight around my dagger. This trial isn't just about fighting each other. There are things in these woods that want us dead, too. Good luck, Cayde. Don't worry, I'll be back for you. Vise gives me a slow smile, and I refuse the urge to knock his teeth out before he steps into the mist, and then he just disappears. I force myself to my feet, cradling my broken wrist against my chest as my pulse pounds in my ears. The golden eyes in the mist don't blink, don't move, but I can feel its stare pressing into me like a promise. Vise is gone. But I'm not alone. A low breath rattles from my chest. I wipe the blood from my lip and take a step back, then another. I'm being watched. And the real predators have finally come out to play. It's impossible. Lucien and Cale are awake. You can't just wake up from something like that. My footsteps are silent as I walk across the grass. I move quietly, instinctively picking my way through the trees, the soft crunch of dead leaves beneath my boots the only sound besides my breathing. I need shelter, a place to settle in for the night, somewhere I won't be found until I'm ready. In the distance, I spot a break in the trees, a cluster of jagged rocks, half hidden by thick vines. It's an alcove, shallow but enough to offer protection. It's not perfect, but it'll have to do. I move toward it, my eyes scanning the shadows as I approach. A crunch of leaves and I still. I stop in my tracks, my body tensing. A strange feeling washes over me, like I've walked into the path of something that wasn't meant to be seen. The forest holds its breath, every tree, every leaf, every whisper of wind frozen in place. It's too quiet, too empty. My shadows can feel it. I can hear it before I see it. I don't turn around. I don't need to. I catch a glimpse of movement in the corner of my eye, massive, dark, and quick. Its glowing golden eyes flash through the fog, and then it's there, a hulking beast with scales as black as midnight and claws that could tear a man in two. It's close now, too close. I can hear its breath, slow, steady, deep. And then it lunges. I don't wait to see where it strikes. I drop low, moving with the grace of a predator, my body reacting before my mind can even catch up. Its claws swipe through the air where my head had been a heartbeat ago. I roll, dodging its massive tail as it whips through the air behind me. It's fast, but it's a shame we're surrounded by darkness. I rise to my feet, my hand already on the hilt of my sword. But my sword isn't what I need. I feel the power building in me, swirling beneath my skin. The shadows, my shadows, are waiting. I can feel them whispering, curling, eager to obey. The jaguar is still circling, its eyes locked on me. I raise my hand, fingers twitching, and the darkness listens. Shadows writhe around me, twisting like living things, spiraling from my feet and up my arms, filling the air with an energy that crackles and hums. The creature hesitates, unsure, its glowing eyes narrowing. I give the command, and the shadows explode. They rush forward, thick and black as night, lashing out with all the fury I've been holding back. The jaguar roars, a sound that shakes the trees, but it's too late. The tendrils of darkness wrap around its limbs, constricting, tightening with a force that would snap a lesser creature in half. It tries to thrash, tries to break free. Its massive body convulses, claws scraping the air in a futile attempt to escape. I don't stop. Its roar becomes a desperate, ragged gasp as my power wraps around its throat, squeezing until its breath is cut off entirely. Its struggles grow weaker, slower, and then nothing. I exhale, my chest tight, my breath coming in ragged gasps. I turn away from the now lifeless creature, my hand still crackling with residual power. I don't have time to linger. The forest is still and empty again, but I know it won't stay that way. Not for long. Groaning, I remove my jacket, keeping my armor on, and set my sword aside. It'd be stupid to completely take off all my protection, but I need sleep. I haven't slept for days worrying about Sai and my brothers. If Lucien and Kale are awake, it means that the curse on Tenebris is lifting, and if that happens... No, it won't happen. I wouldn't be so sure. You keep trying to tell me to not free you, yet you're doing it anyway. The gods need each other to free each other. One can't free themselves, and even without me they will be able to loosen it to the point where they can break it. They are angry, too angry, and they do not have a host. I need to get out of here. Win this and save your kind. I force myself to take a breath. My body is still tense, the last remnants of my power curling in my fingertips, itching for another fight. But the jaguar is dead, its body still, its golden eyes dark. The mist around me has settled, but the unease in my chest hasn't. I press my back against the cold rock, forcing my muscles to relax. Sleep. I need sleep, even for a few hours. My body is running on nothing but willpower and adrenaline, and neither will last forever. My armor stays on. Only an idiot would strip it away in a place like this. Instead, I tug my jacket tighter around me, letting my sword rest within arm's reach. The night is thick with silence, but I know I'm not alone. I never am. I can feel them, the shadows that don't belong to me. I close my eyes, but the words won't leave my head. Win this and save your kind. I grind my teeth, pushing the voice away. The gods are trapped, but they aren't powerless. They're shifting, clawing at the edges of their prison. Their fury leaks through the cracks. They do not have a host. Not yet. And if the curse is breaking, if Tenebris is waking, then time is running out. I need to find Keeds. I need to get out of here. A snap of a twig. My eyes snap open. I don't move. The fog is thick, curling at the edges of the trees. The shadows press in, shifting, watching. Another step. Slow, controlled. It's not an animal. I tighten my grip on the hilt of my sword, my breath slow, steady. Then, a voice, quiet and sharp, cuts through the night. You don't belong here. It's not a question. And it's not a voice I recognize. Careful, Prince. Be very careful. I stay still. My sword dangles by my side, and I grip the hilt, but I don't move for it. Not yet. The fog shifts, curling between the trees like something alive. I can feel something. The darkness seems to wither, and my shadows seem to be afraid of something. I exhale, forcing the tension from my body, but I don't let my guard drop. My fingers flex, shadows rippling beneath my skin, waiting. The voice was close, so something is around here. You don't belong here. The voice repeats. Do not listen to them, blood air. Do not give in. I push myself up slowly, the grass crunching beneath my feet. I pull my sword from its sheath, the blade glinting in the faint moonlight. I turn my head slightly, my voice quiet, and you do. A silence. Then laughter. No. The shadows shift, and I move. Vast. I spin my sword in my hand. The air ripples as my shadows surge forward, lashing out in a blur of darkness. But they hit nothing. I pivot, scanning the trees, heart pounding against my ribs. Gone. No footsteps, no sound, just the fog curling between the trees as if nothing had disturbed it at all. I swallow, my pulse thrumming. I grip my sword tighter, my breath slow, but my instincts are screaming. I should leave. I should move. Now. A gust of wind rushes through the trees, cold against my skin. They will wake soon. The voice is right behind me. I whirl, blade slicing through the air. But there's nothing there. And you won't be able to do anything about it. Is this the end? The jaguar moves slowly, deliberately, golden eyes gleaming as it prowls forward. Each step is silent, effortless, its muscles shifting beneath sleek black fur. It's in no hurry. It knows I can't run. Blood trails behind me in thick, dark streaks, seeping into the earth. My breath is ragged, my fingers digging into the damp grass as I drag myself back, away, anywhere. But the pain in my stomach is unbearable. The wound is deep, torn open by vise, and with every movement, fresh agony lances through me. It watches me struggle, amused, like it knows I've already lost. My arms tremble as I try to push myself up. My leg gives out. A choked gasp leaves my throat, my vision swimming. The jaguar lowers itself, muscles coiling, tail lashing once behind it. My heartbeat pounds, slow and heavy in my ears. Then it lunges. Pain explodes. Its jaws clamp down on my leg, teeth sinking deep into flesh. A raw, guttural scream rips from my throat. It's agonizing, like my bones are shattering, like my body is being ripped apart from the inside. My hands scramble for something, anything, to push it off, but it's too strong. My nails scrape against its fur, my strength fading fast. I can hear the wet sound of blood gushing, feel the warmth as it runs down my skin. I'm dying. The thought slams into me like a final blow. I can taste it in the air, thick and metallic, the scent of my own blood drenching the earth. Let me in. The voice slithers through my mind, quiet and cold. You are dying, little one. A shudder rips through me. My body is failing. My vision is dimming. My blood is leaving me too fast. Let me save you. A hand emerges from nothingness. It's not my hand. It's translucent, red as fresh blood, fingers impossibly long, sharp. They move with a slow grace, curling beneath my chin. My body is frozen. I can't move, can't breathe. The jaguar is still there, still latched onto my leg, its growls rumbling deep in its chest. But it doesn't matter. Nothing matters except her. The blood-red fingers tighten, tilting my chin up. The pause. And then, a snap. My neck wrenches to the side, not from pain, but from something worse. The world tilts. The shadows lurch. The darkness surges. And then I chain. My body arches as heat floods my veins. My blood doesn't spill anymore. It moves, crawling back into my body, sealing the wounds, twisting and shifting as something deep within me awakens. The transformation rips through me like a storm. My skin darkens, red veins crackling to the surface like lightning beneath flesh. My fingers stretch, bones snapping, lengthening. My nails sharpen into black talons. My breath comes in ragged, shuddering gasps as my body is no longer my own. The jaguar's teeth release me. It stumbles back, ears flattening, golden eyes wide with something it hasn't felt before. Fear. It sees what I've become, sees her inside of me. A slow smile curves my lips. I don't think about moving, I just move. 1 second I'm kneeling on the ground, the next I'm behind the jaguar, my arms slicing through the air. My claws carve through muscle, through bone, leaving a trail of dark crimson in their wake. The beast roars, its body jerking violently as it tries to turn, tries to fight back. But I don't give it the chance. The blood dripping from its side lifts, twisting, solidifying into jagged, spear-like tendrils. Its own blood, my weapon. I raise a hand, and the tendrils obey. They lunge forward, piercing through the jaguar's body with a sickening shhk. The beast lets out a strangled, choked sound. Its massive body trembles, its limbs twitching as it collapses onto the dirt. Still breathing, but barely. I step closer, my bare feet pressing into the blood-soaked ground. The jaguar's golden eyes flicker, its chest rising once, twice, then nothing. A silence. The power still hums beneath my skin. It's intoxicating. It wants more. But the second the jaguar stops struggling, the power vanishes. The cold leaves, the heat fades. My body shrinks, twisting back into itself. My knees buckle. My breath is ragged. My hands tremble as I touch my leg, expecting to feel the torn flesh, the raw pain of a wound that should have killed me. Nothing. Not even a scar. I should feel relieved. But all I feel is her. Please don't ever do that again. You liked it, Marker. You like the power. You may have forgotten your memories, but I have them all. Yuri Sareth. The general is right. You will not survive as Syerin Cayde. Especially not like this. All the competitors will be after you. What do you want me to do about it? I complain as I start slicing the meat of the beast. We won't last long without food. I'd suggest you go find your little friend. You have me, she has nothing. If even you can't survive against Syerin without calling upon me. The goddess laughs. She's probably already dead. I stiffen. Lurel isn't dead. She can't be. I force the thought down, focusing on the task in front of me. My hands are steady as I carve into the jaguar's flesh, stripping away what I need to survive. The scent of blood is thick in the air, cloying, iron-rich. My stomach clenches, but not from hunger. The goddess stirs, amusement curling through my veins like smoke. You care for her. How sweet. I don't answer. I can't afford to let her in. Not now. Not when my body still thrums from whatever the hell just happened. Not when my fingers still tingle with the memory of claws, with the phantom sensation of power. A shudder runs through me. I push myself up, gripping the hunk of meat, and turn my gaze to the trees. Mist slithers between the trunks, thick and impenetrable, curling at my ankles as if trying to drag me back down. Somewhere out there, the other competitors are still hunting, still killing. The trial of the hunt isn't over. And if I don't move soon, someone will find me. I hoist the meat onto my shoulder and start walking. My steps are slow at first, each one testing the strength of my newly healed leg. But there's no pain, no limp, no sign that I was ever wounded. The thought unsettles me more than it should. You should have died. The goddess hums as if pleased, and yet here we are. I grind my teeth and keep moving. The forest presses in, branches arching overhead like skeletal fingers. Every rustling leaf, every distant snap of a twig sets my nerves on edge. I need to find shelter. I need to find Lurel. But the further I go, the more the mist thickens. The forest is shifting. I feel it. A chill snakes down my spine as I glance over my shoulder. The jaguar's corpse is gone. I stop breathing. The blood-stained ground is still there. The torn leaves, the broken branches. But the body, the massive, lifeless form that I killed with my own hands, has vanished. The goddess laughs softly. You thought it was real. Hallucination, hallucination, hallucination. Jin Trues. I don't know much about him. He's a quiet boy that relies more on his power than his combat skills. I have to keep an open mind. The forest, the trees, the grass, all of it disappears until I'm looking at myself. Syerin Cayde, she whispers. Something touches my neck. I grip my dagger and the figure before me twists and warps, turning into a small girl with chestnut brown hair. The sight nearly makes me fall to my knees. Kaylee, I cry out, lunging for her, but as soon as my fingers meet her, she disappears. A laugh slithers through the air, soft and familiar. It's not real. I stumble back, breath coming too fast, too shallow. My fingers curl around the dagger at my side, nails biting into my palm. The mist thickens, curling like ghostly fingers whispering through the trees. The forest shifts again, reality bending and warping until he is standing there. Riven. My heart slams against my ribs. His dark hair is ruffled, his green eyes burning like embers in the fog. He looks real, too real. His clothes are torn, streaked with blood, his stance loose and casual, but his eyes are wrong. There's no warmth. That teasing spark that is always there is gone. You found me, he murmurs. His voice is silk, a dangerous edge woven beneath the softness. I take a step back. You're not real. He tilts his head, studying me. Aren't I? My fingers tighten around my dagger. Jin Trues, the boy who bends reality, who weaves illusions so seamlessly they feel like truth. The one competitor who doesn't fight with blades, but with the mind. I should have known. Come now, Syerin, Riven. Not Riven says, taking a step forward. You don't believe that. I shake my head. You're not him. Then kill me. The words are soft, laced with a challenge. I freeze. He steps closer, and I swear I can feel the warmth radiating from him, the scent of steel and pine that is so achingly riven it nearly undoes me. His hand lifts, so slowly, so gently, as if he means to touch my face. I flinch back. His lips curve, still so stubborn. His hand shoots out, too fast. I barely react in time, twisting away, my dagger slashing through the air. Metal meets flesh, or should, but the blade passes through him like mist. My pulse spikes. He's not real, but he can still touch me. His fingers brush my throat, and cold floods my veins. I lash out with my foot, kicking at his ribs. This time he solidifies, my boot connecting with muscle. He grunts, stumbling back, but the second he does, he changes. Riven is gone. Jin Trues stands in his place, his dark eyes gleaming. Illusion shattered. You're quicker than I thought, he murmurs, wiping a smear of blood from his lip. Good. His grin sharpens. I'd hate for this to be easy. He flicks his fingers. The air warps. And then, a blade erupts from my chest. Pain, searing, raw, unbearable. I stagger forward, a strangled gasp tearing from my throat as crimson blooms across my shirt. I look down, my vision blurring. It's no wound. It's no blood. It's not real. Jin watches, amused. Your body thinks it's dying. His head tilts. What do you think will happen when your mind believes it too? My knees buckle, my heart stutters, I can feel it. Feel my own body shutting down, muscles locking, vision darkening. No, I grit my teeth, forcing my breath into something steady. He's not in control. I am. You want to play with illusions. I growl, tasting iron on my tongue. Jin smiles. I do. Then let's play. A wicked grin takes over my face. I let go. Of reality, of my body, of everything tying me to this world. I let her in. And the shadows shudder. Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? The mark pulses frantically, getting hotter and hotter every minute. She's in danger. I need to find her before something finds me. A whisper of doubt slithers through my mind. Did I just lose her forever? But I shove it down, lock it away, and push forward. She's smart, and she's got the power from the blood goddess by her side, and as her host, she won't let Syerin die. I give one last look at my surroundings, shaking off whatever voice that was, and tap into the god's power. Darkness surges through me, an intoxicating rush of speed and heightened senses. I lunge into the trees, keeping high as I move fast through the branches, vision sharpened to its limit as I scan for any flash of red hair. Nothing. Damn it. The mist slithers below like a living thing, coiling between trunks, curling over the uneven ground. The further I go, the stronger the feeling gets. The pull in my chest, the fire beneath my skin, the mark on my back burning. She's close. But she's not alone. A whisper of movement, so subtle most wouldn't notice, but I do. I turn. Too late. A flash of silver, a gust of wind, and something slams into me from above. I snarl, twisting midair, barely catching myself as I crash onto a lower branch. Bark splinters beneath my fingers. My boots scrape against the wood. I snap my head up just in time to see her. A woman stands on the branch above, her stance poised, dangerous. Dark braids cascade down her back, woven with silver charms. Her skin is deep bronze, her eyes a sharp, unnatural gold that seem to glow in the darkness. Elira Vale. One of the deadliest competitors in the games, and the only one rumored to have power over the trees. She tilts her head, a smirk tugging at her lips. Running from something knocks. I don't answer. I don't have the time. My mark scorches against my back, a brutal, desperate warning. Find her, find her, find her. Elira's fingers brush against the bark beneath her, and the tree moves. The branch beneath my feet shudders. I leap an instant before it snaps, twisting midair, landing on a higher one. Elira, I don't have time for this. She grins. Good, I like an opponent in a hurry. And then she attacks. The branches around us lunge. Vines snap forward like whips, roots split from the trunks and strike with deadly precision. I dodge the first, slice through the second, but the third catches my wrist, twisting around it, tightening like a vice. I snarl, shadows flickering around my body and tear-free lunging at her. She twists aside at the last moment, the wind at her back lifting her to another branch, unnaturally fast, unnervingly graceful. I follow. We move in a deadly dance, leaping from branch to branch, steel clashing, shadows and vines colliding in the air. I won't have time if she slows me down. End her, Prince. To save one you must sacrifice the other. Syerin dies, you die. Illyra launches herself at me again, daggers gleaming in the faint light. I block the first strike, dodge the second, but the third cuts close, too close. A shallow line of blood blossoms on my arm. I catch her wrist before she can land another. Twist. She hisses, but instead of fighting, she grins. Is she worth this, Nox? Something in my chest tightens. I yank her forward, slamming my knee into her stomach. She gasps, doubling over, and I use the moment to throw her off the branch. She twists midair, landing in a crouch on the forest floor, smirking up at me. You're getting sloppy. I don't respond. I don't look back. My shadows pour from my arms, and I know they'll do the job, so I do the one last thing my body explodes. Fuck! I scream louder than I ever have before, as my body falls to the ground, blood dripping from my nose and mouth. I clutch my stomach in agony as I watch Illyra's body fall to the floor, her screams and pain mirroring mine. What's happening? Pain shreds through my body like burning iron, so intense it nearly rips me apart. My vision blurs, black dots bleeding into the mist. The ground beneath me feels like it's tilting, the world around me cracking apart. Somewhere below, Illyra screams again, her voice laced with pain. And somewhere through the pain, it hits me. The riddle. Yes, Prince, she was your ally. The words coil around my mind like a curse. My own breath stutters in my chest. No. I try to push myself up, but my muscles spasm, my body refusing to move. My mark burns, not just with urgency, but with punishment. You didn't pay attention, Prince. You should have been more careful. I clench my jaw. She was your ally, he repeats again. I cough, blood splattering onto the grass beneath me. I can barely move. It's almost like the pain is paralyzing me. I feel my body give out, my vision not far from it either. I catch some movement and I try to squint my eyes, ignoring the pain. If any competitor makes a move now, I'm dead. But it's not a competitor. A faint glow pulses in the mist ahead, floating toward me. An orb. It hovers just inches away, shimmering with an eerie white gold light, its edges flickering like dying embers. To harm an ally is to face the consequence. It says, the sound warbled. Another wave of pain tears through me. My hands dig into the dirt as I bite back another scream. I need to get to Syerin. I need to. A flicker of red. My chest seizes. Through the haze, through the blinding pain, I see it. Her cloak, crumpled in the dirt just past the trees. In my blind spot. A body. Still. Unmoving. The pull in my chest turns to something unbearable. I no longer feel the pain as I force my body up, gritting my teeth. The orb watches, its glow dimming, as if accepting my suffering as enough. I don't care. I run. The pain doesn't stop me. Nothing will stop me. Not until I get to her. I stumble over roots, shove through trees, sprint across the uneven ground. And then I see her, lying in the dirt, pale as death. The glow from the orb disappears suddenly, and the noose around my neck instantly vanishes. My body is my own again, and the searing pain that burned through me is gone. So why does everything still hurt? Blood stains Cayde's skin, streaking across her arms, her throat. But there is not a single wound, not even a scar left behind. The blood goddess must have healed her, but she's not waking up. A sharp, ragged breath tears from my lungs. Syerin. No response. I fall to my knees beside her, my hands trembling as I cup her face. Syerin, wake up. Nothing. I shake her, gentle at first, then rougher, desperation clawing at my ribs. She can't be gone. The thought slams into me like a blade to the chest. I grip her tighter, my forehead pressing against hers, breathing in the faintest trace of her scent, smoke, steel, and something soft beneath it all. Something distinctly her. Don't do this, I whisper. My voice breaks. You promised, Cayde. You swore you'd survive. A silence. The world around me tilts. A weight in my chest shatters. I can't breathe. The sound that rips from me is raw, inhuman. A scream laced with so much agony it doesn't sound like mine. For the first time in my life, a tear streaks down my cheek. A warm palm lands on my back, and Alira crouches down beside me, staring at Syerin's lifeless form. For a fail, she was the coolest bitch I've ever known. Alira's fingers skim across Syerin's cheek before she turns to me. Well, at least we know what happens when we fight the wrong person. She stands up to her full height, her braids dangling down her back. The tags riven. The tags tell us who our allies are. And with that, she summons a branch down, and the second she holds on to it, she's gone. For a long moment, I can't move, can't breathe. She's not dead. She can't be dead. I shake her again, hands gripping her shoulders, desperate. Syerin, wake up. My voice is hoarse, wrecked. You don't get to fucking die. Not here. Not now. Still nothing. The mark on my back pulses like a heartbeat, fast, frantic, angry. I squeeze my eyes shut. I know I whisper. I know. My fingers curl against her skin, and something shifts in the air. The mist thickens, swirling, twisting, curling around her like invisible threads. No, not invisible. Red. A crimson glow pulses beneath her skin, faint but there, spreading outward in delicate, branching veins. The blood goddess. She won't let her die. A beat of silence, then Syerin gasps, body jerking violently, her hands clawing at the dirt. A rush of air leaves my lungs in a ragged exhale. Syerin. Her eyes snap open. But they aren't hers. They burn, molten and ancient, flickering between black and red, shifting like something alive. Not her. Not just her. The blood goddess stirs, curling beneath her skin, watching me through her gaze. I still. Cayde, my voice is quiet. She tilts her head, slow, deliberate. Little prince, my eyes narrow. The orb. She manages to voice out. Get to the orb or she dies and so do you. I scramble up, almost tripping over my own feet, and I can see the same blue orb that was there when Alira left fades away slowly, bit by bit. At the last moment, I lunge for it, and my fingers skim its liquid edge. Then the glow disappears. Snow. Snow. And all of a sudden, light explodes everywhere. A small vial materializes in its glow, swirling with something thick and silver, poolsing like liquid light. The orb speaks again. Take it, Prince. She is not yet lost. I grab the vial, unthinking, my hands shaking as I run back towards Syerin, tilting her head back gently. Don't you dare leave me, I whisper, voice hoarse. I press the vial to her lips and pour. The moment the silver liquid touches her tongue, she gasps and wakes up. I never once shed a tear. Not when my grandparents died. Not even when I was beaten into shape to become the blood heir. Not when I was branded with the death mark and told it meant power. Not when I realized it meant a cage. But seeing her almost die, seeing her bleed and fight for her life, seeing her body crumpled in the dirt. I did. For the first time, I cried. I glance sideways as she walks beside me, brushing dirt off her torn cloak. Her red hair is tangled. There's blood on her cheek, and she's still here, alive. Why'd you come after me? She asks softly. Because I love you, and I couldn't imagine a world that doesn't have you in it. Because these trials are trying to kill us, but it's not the reason why I'm trying to stay alive. She doesn't say anything to that, doesn't have to. Her fingers brush against mine as we walk, and I link them with mine. I stay cautious as we move through the forest. By this time, everyone would be trying to find shelter, and lucky for us we found one. Just through the opening of some bushes is a small cave, just past the ridge. It overlooks the hill, and it's secluded enough for none of the other competitors to find us. So far, I only know that Alira is on my team. Tags. She said that it's the tags. My head whips towards Syerin, and I rake my eyes over her body, but I can't find anything. What tag? She must notice something is up, because she turns towards me, her eyebrow cocking as she slumps across the wall. What are you looking for? I hesitate, gaze lingering too long at her collarbone before flicking away. The riddle mentioned something about allies and enemies. I ran into Alira, and she figured that there are some sort of tags that tell us apart, but I don't see one on you. A faint smirk pulls at her lips, like she knows something I don't. That's because it's hidden. Want me to show you? I raise an eyebrow, and she chuckles under her breath. It's not like that, Nox, she teases, pulling the edge of her sleeve back to reveal a faint glowing mark just beneath the skin, only visible when the light catches it. There. Happy. I nod slowly, eyes still on her arm. Her tag is yellow. Mine's blue. Snow. Keeds. My eyes go wild when I realize the full extent of how bad this may be, and her eyes zero in on the faint blue light poolsing through my uniform. She stands up abruptly, her hair whipping around her face from the wind as she walks towards the cave. We should get some rest. Sigh. Riven, please, she says, stepping away from me, her blue eyes in a frenzy, marked or not. I nearly died. I need to make it out of here alive, and her voice breaks off. I can't have you stopping me from doing that. I move forward despite the hole her words burn right through me. A sudden anger courses through me, and I don't know why. You can leave. You can run away. You can do whatever the fuck you want, Syerin, but that doesn't change the fact that you're mine. It doesn't change the lengths I would go to protect you. It doesn't change anything. You are mine and I am yours, and we are going to get out of this trial alive. I don't even realize that I've backed her up against the cave, her arms pressed against the walls as her eyes dart down. Look at me, Cayde. I tilt her chin upwards, gently, making her beautiful eyes meet mine. Her lips part, her chest rising and falling as she breathes faster, the flicker of defiance in her eyes giving way to something else. Heat, confusion, longing. I can feel it in the way her body stills beneath my hands, in the way her fingers curl slightly against the wall, like she's trying to hold on to something, to stop herself from falling. But it's too late for that. Riven. That does it. Her mouth crashes against mine, hungry and furious, all that fire she's been trying to bury spilling out. I grip her hips and pull her to me, my back arching just slightly as I lose all sense of the cold, the cave walls, the trial, everything that isn't her. Her hands knot into my shirt, dragging me closer like she wants to disappear into me like this. Us is the only thing that's keeping her here. The kiss deepens, turning rough, breathless, raw. I back her harder against the cave wall, kissing down her jaw, her neck, her collarbone. She moans softly, breath catching when I find that spot just beneath her ear. I thought I lost you, I whisper against her skin, hands skimming beneath the hem of her shirt to feel her warmth, the scars, the truth of her. I would have burned this entire place to the ground, Syerin. I still will if it means keeping you safe. She pulls my face back to hers and kisses me again, slower this time, her fingers tangled in my hair, her lips softer but just as desperate. Our bodies mold together like they were built for it. There's nothing careful about it, just need, want, the taste of survival and something deeper that neither of us dares say aloud. Her breath fans against my ear as she whispers, "Don't stop." And I can't. My hands are everywhere, her waist, her back, her thighs, and she lets me touch her like she's finally stopped running, like for this moment, she's mine again. Clothes shift, fall away. Warm skin meets skin. Everything burns, everything shakes. Her nails scrape down my back as I lift her, her legs instinctively wrapping around me. I press her harder into the wall, swallowing the gasp that escapes her mouth when my hips align with hers. Every inch of me aches for the way she trembles in my arms, for the way she kisses like she's starving, like I'm the only thing that's ever tasted real. Syerin, I breathe, voice low and rough against her lips. Tell me you want this. Her fingers find my jaw, tilting my face just enough for her to look me in the eyes. I've wanted this since the moment you thought you could stay away from me. And that's it. I lay her down on the cave floor, slow and careful, even though everything inside me is screaming to take, to claim, to devour her whole. The stone beneath us is cold, but her skin is fire. My lips trail a line down her stomach as her breath stutters, as her fingers knot in my hair. She arches beneath me, a sound slipping from her throat that undoes something inside me. Riven, she whispers, her voice ragged, her hands pulling me closer. I need you. I kiss her, deep, hard, reverent. You have me. And when our bodies finally come together, it's not just passion. It's everything we've been holding back. The fury, the pain, the fear of losing each other in a world that's bent on tearing us apart. We move like the world is ending, fast, desperate, and locked in something that feels like war and worship all at once. Her gasps fill the cave, her back arching as she clings to me, her name falling from my lips like a promise. She's the only thing I know, the only thing that matters. And just as her lips part to say something, just as I lean in to kiss her again, the cave glows. The light slices through the dark like a blade. We both freeze. Syerin gently pushes me off as the two of us scramble for our clothes, and I manage to put on a shirt before she runs outside. Her breath leaves her body in a ragged gasp. A glowing projection flickers to life in the sky, a bright blue shard of magic like a veil pulling apart the clouds. The projection plays footage, a recording from earlier in the trial. It shows me, clear as day, holding a small figure in my arms. Cayde. Her small body limp, my arm around her throat, a dagger in my hand. No, not now, please, no. And then darkness swallows the little girl as I pull her into the shadows, my blade slicing clean across her throat. From this angle, it looks like I killed her. Syerin doesn't move, doesn't blink. Her lips part, trembling as the truth she thinks she's seeing sinks in. No, I say immediately, shaking my head, standing, reaching for her. No, it's not real. I didn't sigh, listen to me, please. Her hand flies to her mouth. She stumbles backward, away from me, clutching at the stone wall like she can't breathe. You, her voice is hoarse, distant, you killed her. No, I didn't, I swear, I hid her. It was a shadow construct. She's safe, she slaps my arm away, hot tears falling from her eyes. I told you I loved you. She screams, the fury behind those words shaking the cave. And you did this. My chest caves inward. She's alive, Syerin. Please just listen to me. But the horror in her eyes drowns out every word. She looks at me like I'm the monster now. And maybe, to her, I am. She falls to the floor, her knees drawn up into her chest, her fingers clutching her hair tightly. Her breathing turns jagged, shallow, like every inhale scorches her from the inside. Then slowly, so slowly, she rises. Something in her changes. Her face hardens, her hands steady, and when she looks at me again, all that shattered pain is gone. Only fury remains. You lied to me, she says quietly, deadly. You let me fall for you while you kept that secret in your back pocket, didn't you? Waiting for the right moment to twist the blade. Syerin, no. It wasn't like that. I had to make it look real. The others were watching. I had no choice. You always have a choice. Her eyes are wild, and I see the realization fall upon her. That's why you found me the first trial, didn't you? You were trying to find my weakness. She scoffs. God, how could I be so stupid? She strides toward me, and for a second I think she's going to hit me. But instead, her hand flies to the sheath strapped across her thigh. Metal hisses against leather. And then her blade is at my throat. My breath catches. I don't move. Her body slams into mine, forcing me back until I hit the cave floor. The blade stays firm, cold, unforgiving. I don't fight her, because part of me thinks I deserve it. I should kill you, she hisses, her face inches from mine. Her knee pins my ribs, her blade pressing harder against the skin of my neck. You used me. You lied to me. You made me believe that after everything, after everyone, I could finally trust someone again. Her hands are trembling. Her eyes are fire. But her voice is breaking. Do it, I whisper, gripping her wrists and pressing the dagger harder. If it'll make the pain stop, do it. I won't fight you. She blinks, her grip tightens, then falters. Her blade shakes. I see it, the war in her eyes, the rage, the grief, the love. And then she screams. A raw, choked sound that echoes through the cave. Her tears fall down, landing on my face, and I never knew that I could feel so much pain. Why? Why do I feel like my entire world has been ripped apart? She throws the blade aside and staggers away from me like she's the one who's been stabbed. I sit up, heart in ruins, blood pounding in my ears. Cayde, please don't walk away, not like this. Don't call me that, she shrieks. I am not your Cayde, Riven, not anymore. I want to grab her, I want to hold her until I never have to see her cry again, but she's already grabbing her cloak, her chest heaving, her back turned to me. Don't walk away, I say again, please. I have to, she chokes out. If I stay, I won't survive this trial. I won't survive you. I lost her because of you. But I won't lose myself to you, Riven. I start toward her, but she whirls on me, tears staining her beautiful face. Don't follow me, Riven, because if you do, this time I will really kill you. And then she's gone. For so long, I've kept my heart under lock and key. For so long, I was afraid that if I let someone in, I would lose everything. For a minute, Riven Knox made me believe that there was nothing to be afraid of. Now, I've never been more scared. I don't have shelter right now, and it wouldn't be safe to stay on the ground. I tap into the mark's power and boost myself up to the trees. I move from branch to branch, tree to tree until I find a thick branch that can support me. I settle onto it, tucking my cloak beneath me, hugging my knees to my chest as I stare out over the forest. The wind bites through the trees, but it's not what's making me shake. It's him. It's the way his eyes didn't flinch when he told me to kill him. The way he looked at me, like I was everything. The way my blade didn't move. I should have ended it. I should have carved him out of my chest like every other weakness I've had to rip free. But I couldn't, because some traitorous, stupid part of me still believes him. still feels the echo of his touch, still remembers the way he said my name like it meant something holy. I press my palm to the mark beneath my shirt, feeling its pulse, wild, hot, chaotic. "You're no use to me right now," I whisper bitterly. "I needed you to tell me if he was lying." But the mark stays silent. No visions, no whispers, just the heat still burning through my spine from when he touched me. I tilt my head back against the bark and exhale sharply, trying to blink away the sting behind my eyes. Kaylee, if he's telling the truth, she's still alive. If he's not... No, I can't let myself spiral. Not when there are people out here hunting me. Not when I'm a marked threat with a target on my back and a kingdom waiting to see if I burn or rise. A branch creaks nearby. My body goes still. I reach slowly for the dagger at my hip, eyes narrowing at the shifting shadows below. A silence. Then, a whisper of movement, just left of the clearing. I crouch, lowering myself against the branch, heart steady, muscles tense. I can't afford another surprise. But when the figure finally steps into view, my heart starts racing. It's Alira. Blood on her sleeve, a limp in her right leg, but still walking, still breathing. She glances up, right where I'm perched, and gives a tight nod, like she expected me to be watching. I drop from the branch, landing silently behind her. She's not on my team, but she's not going to fight me. Not in the state she's in right now. "You're late," I say flatly. She doesn't startle. "You're welcome." I fold my arms. For what? For not being him. Her voice is calm, clipped. I saw the projection, half the forest did. My jaw tightens. Then you know what I'm dealing with. "It's not your fault. You didn't kill her," she says after a beat. "Riven Knox is called the blood heir for a reason, Blue." I don't answer. I don't know if I can. But I do cock an eyebrow at the nickname. "Your eyes are really blue," she says. Alira leans against a tree, letting out a low breath. "I came to find you because we don't have time to fall apart, Syerin. We may not be on the same team, but Tenebris is starting to get close to breaking the curse." My head whips towards her, and that's when I see it. Something I never noticed until now. Among the many charms braided into her hair, I see a small silver one. A small silver logo of Urindrail. I meet her eyes. "Why are you here?" "Everyone knew you, Blue. If you could remember, we used to get trained together. I couldn't speak the language when I first met you, but the first thing that came to my mind when I saw you was blue." She smiles softly. "Callan knew that you would be entering the trials. He figured out your identity as the marker ages ago, and he sent me to compete for you." I hesitate. "You could have died in these trials, and you're telling me that you did it for me." "Yuri, you were my best friend. We were practically inseparable. And it broke my heart when you left without even telling me. When I saw you here with your same red hair and blue eyes, it broke me all over again. I stayed silent, stayed away from you. You never even looked at me once." I stagger back a step, gripping the tree beside me. The mark pulses violently under my skin like it heard every word. I try so hard to remember her. Her dark braids and deep brown skin. her wild eyes, but I can't hold on to it. So what do I do? I ask, barely able to keep my voice steady. Alira exhales slowly. You finish the trials. You survive. But after that, you don't run. You don't destroy the mark. You don't seal the gods away again. She meets my gaze dead-on, unwavering. You break the curse. You free them. I stare at her like she's lost her mind. Free them? You're telling me the gods who slaughtered half the continent, who were sealed for trying to consume entire bloodlines, that I'm supposed to let them loose. She steps forward, the branch creaking under her steps. They didn't try to consume the bloodlines, Syerin. They were the bloodlines. What? No, don't you fucking listen to her, Marker. Alira's voice drops. The original 5 gods, the origin lords, they didn't rule Velthar. They were Velthar, every element, every kingdom, every bloodline born of them. But something fractured their bond. One of their own turned on them, twisted their power, and cursed the others into silence. I feel the blood drain from my face. Verithin. My hand flies to my mouth. Riven's mark. She nods. He wasn't just a god of death. He was purity once. Innocence. But he believed the others made humanity too powerful. He created the curse to sever their influence and bound them to bloodlines he could control. Yours, Riven's, Cayle's, all of us born of the old gods were made to imprison them. The forest spins around me. You're saying the gods didn't fall. They were betrayed. Syerin Cayde, do not listen to her. Not just betrayed, Alira whispers. Murdered. Buried alive in the bodies of their descendants. Cursed to sleep while their magic was drained, devoured, and twisted by those who serve Tenebris now. The mark pulses again, sharper this time. Painful. This is your story. You wanted power. He did this because of you, didn't he? I press my palm over the emblem in my back. The gods are still alive, Alira continues. Trapped inside the mark. Fatting. If the curse isn't broken soon, they'll vanish for good, and when they do, so will every bloodline tied to them. You, me, Riven, all the royals, Blue, but also all of us. Urindrail was made from the god of darkness. That's where our powers come from. No, I whisper. No, that can't. You think the mark only burns because it's choosing you. She says, it burns because it's dying. And you're its last tether. You're the only one who can break the curse without killing us all. Because the blood mark wasn't a punishment, Syerin. It was a key. And it only activates for the one who still carries all 5 gods inside her blood. You were used as a bridge. Didn't you ever wonder about how you, the fearsome Yuri Sarath, was the only one in Urindrail that hadn't inherited its powers? My knees threaten to give out. How am I supposed to free them? She reaches into her cloak and pulls something out, an obsidian shard etched with glowing runes. There are 5 relics, she says, one for each god, each buried in a different realm. After you perform the ritual to free them, the gods still won't be fully powered. Their souls will be free, but to give them back their form, you must collect the relics. I stare at the shard. If I do that, I murmur, what happens to me? Alira hesitates. That's the part no one knows, she admits. But if you don't do it, then we don't just lose Velthar. We lose every realm the gods ever touched. The silence stretches between us. A war brews inside me, between the part that still wants to run and the part that knows there's nowhere left to run to. The gods chose me, and now I have to choose them back. I look down at the mark as it pulses like a second heartbeat under my skin. Then we find the relics, I say quietly, and we end the curse. Illyra nods, and for the first time I see relief flicker in her eyes. Crickets chirp in the background, and the only source of light is the moon. What about the trials? You're not on my team. I don't expect laughter, but she laughs anyway. A soft, breathy sound, worn at the edges, frayed from everything she's been through, but still real. And it shatters me. Because it's familiar. That laugh, like wind skipping across water, like warmth pressing against the cold, like a memory I'd buried so deep it took Illyra's smile to dig it free. I stagger, blinking hard. The forest fades. The pain, the blood, the gods, the curse, they all peel back for just a second as something flickers behind my eyes. A memory, small, fragile, but mine. There's a girl, maybe 5, maybe 6, standing at the edge of a cracked stone courtyard. Her red braid is crooked, her face smeared with dirt, but her blue eyes gleam like something too bright for a world so broken. She holds out a hand to a girl with dark braids and scraped knees, who watches her warily from behind the shattered wing of a statue. "My name's Yuri," the red-haired girl says, grinning with a gap between her front teeth. The other girl tilts her head, doesn't speak, just stares. "Yuri," she says again, pointing to herself and smiling wider. "You can call me that." The girl still doesn't speak, but her eyes dart to those glowing blue irises and soften. As she points, "Blue." And that's what sticks. Not the name, not the scars, just the color of her eyes. I suck in a breath, the forest crashing back around me like a wave. My fingers tremble as I brace myself against the bark, throat tight, heart splitting open in ways I don't know how to stop. Illyra watches me quietly, her expression unreadable, but her eyes say everything. "You remember," she says softly. I remember. My voice is barely a whisper. You couldn't even speak English back then. "No, but I knew what mattered," she says with a soft smile. "Your name didn't stick, but your eyes did." I let out a strangled breath. "Illyra, why didn't you ever say anything?" "Because I needed you to remember on your own," she says. "Not because I told you, because it was real. And it was." She glances back toward the distant clearing where the next trial waits. "So, what now, Blue?" I wipe at my face, setting my shoulders. Now we survive. And after that? After that, I say, we set the gods free. Illyra nods once. "Then you'd better win." She turns to walk away, but pauses. "For what it's worth. I'm still your friend, even if I can't stand beside you in that arena." And then she's gone, vanishing between the trees, just like the memory she gave back. But something in me has changed. The fear is still there, buried deep in my ribs, but it's no longer the loudest voice. The gods may be cursed. The bloodlines may be dying. But I was born to be the bridge. And bridges don't run. They rise.